If it gets crazy, I don't think it's gonna get crazy, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just, hey, we just free flowing. You know, you giving me the opportunity.
bro, it's like people are making too much of a big deal about it. It's literally just a discussion, just talking about
Yeah.
Tawhid, you know.
Yeah, before it was gonna be Tawhid against Trinity, but now we move into Trinity with Umar and Yaq'ub, but Derron and Umar, they're just gonna speak about Tawhid, really.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like, look, we just want to see like
Yeah.
because we in these discourses, I'm sure Darren can see Muslims and Christians. They always say, okay, what's like more coherent, Trinity or Tawhid? And
Correct.
Muslims will say the Trinity is three gods or a contradiction, and then some Christians I've been seeing, they say like Allah has parts and stuff like that, and
Right.
there's multiple like 99 gods. So I'd like to see these.
Yeah, no,
on the
dude, that's
table.
awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because that's definitely something we want to get into. But let's establish like the definition. Like, what to you, Omar? What is the definition of Tawhid?
Yeah. So when it comes to Tawhid, the way that the scholars I take from define it. So first of all, when they say linguistically in the Arabic language, they say in the language it just refers to singularity and making something one, right?
Right.
But
Correct.
that's linguistically.
Right.
When you talk about the way that we take it, as Muslims, not just based upon the language, we say it's to single God out and His lordship, and His worship, and His names and attributes.
Got
So
it.
that's making one in that sense is what we would say.
Well, let me ask this. So, in a sense, right? Because you said that it could mean to make one, right? The actual linguistic definition of Tawhid could mean to make one. So, in a sense, I'm going to ask you this: does Christians believe in Tawhid? If we accept that linguistic definition, that it could be to make one.
Yeah, well, look, when you say God is triune just means triune. It's like triunity, and it just means that God is like unified, right?
Correct.
So you guys believe that you're monotheist, but the
So do you
entailment
believe
isn't
that
that
we-
you're monotheist.
Okay, so do you believe that we are a form of Tawhid?
Yeah, I believe that you guys believe that you guys are monotheists, but I don't believe that you guys are monotheists in the sense that I'm speaking
I
of
can say the
because
same.
of the entailment.
We could say the same thing as well, right? Like we can say that you believe that you're monotheist when you have attributes that are distinct from Allah, they're uncreated, like Allah, but you say they are one with, or not one with Allah, but they make up Allah's person, right?
Well, I don't know what makeup means over here. If you're meaning like they were once separate and then became together, then no, I wouldn't say that.
Right.
But if you mean that in order for him to exist, he must have these properties, then yeah, he has to have these attributes in order to exist.
Right. So, but are these attributes one with him, or are they distinct from him?
Well, I guess we'd have to define what you mean by distinct.
Are they one with Allah's essence?
Like, what do you mean distinct as in separate, or distinct as in there's like something different
the
between each
essence
one?
of Allah, who He is, right? That's what we're talking about. His ontology is the attributes of Allah, or are they distinct from Allah?
See, there we go. Are they Allah? As in, are they the same as Him? Are they
Correct.
identical to Him?
Right.
That's what you're asking. No,
Correct.
we don't believe that they're identical to Him.
But they are uncreated, correct?
Yep.
Does He need these attributes to be Allah?
Yep. Just like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit need each other to be God. Yep.
Right. Okay. Well, they're one in essence. We believe the essence is eternal. We believe there's a distinction in their person, but as far as like Allah, right? So you say that His attributes are distinct from Allah, but yet they are not Allah and they are uncreated like Allah, correct?
If you mean that they're not Him, as in they're not identical to Him, then yeah, they're not identical to Him.
For example,
They're
His
distinct.
attribute of creator, right? One of His attributes is creator, correct?
Yep.
And Allah
have
can't
the ability to
exist.
create,
He
yeah.
cannot exist without this attribute of creator, correct?
He can't exist without any of His essential properties.
So did He create the attribute of creator?
No, I don't know what that means.
Well, because remember, we're saying that it's not Allah.
That's an essential property of His. If it's essential, then He's always had it.
Okay, so then is it one with Allah or distinct from Allah? Again, it can be both.
If you mean one as in it's identical to Him, it's not identical to Him.
So it's
gonna be
not
distinct.
identical to Him. So it's an attribute that He possesses. And so without possessing this attribute, He cannot be Allah.
Right. Yep.
Okay, interesting. So, for example, the attribute of speech, right, which is the Quran.
Well, if you mean the attribute of speech, there's gonna be a difference over here. If you mean the attribute of speech as in the ability to speak, then yeah, that's essential, that's eternal. But if you mean the particular instance, which is going to be these particular words, which is going to be the Quran, then that's not eternal and that's not essential.
So, is the Quran uncreated?
Yeah.
So the Quran, it's uncreated. So is the Quran just the attribute of his of speech, or is the speech itself?
Sorry, Darren. Can you turn the camera on, Darren, if you want, bro?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
People asking.
I gotta fix my background, bro. I don't know how to fix my background on other people's panel.
Yeah, many people asking for your camera to be on.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
Nobody's
No, that's all good. Hey, Derron, you know what's funny? I almost bought a Chicago. I'm not even kidding. I was about to buy a Chicago Bulls hat and wear it for you, man. Chicago Bulls.
I like that, bro.
Hey, because you remember the Bull last time with the Bull. I was about to buy that hat, man.
How we looking?
That's way better, brother.
I love it. All right, so I'm asking you these questions, Umar, because we as Christians want to get a better understanding of how to reconcile linguistically how Allah is one, but yet He's made of multiple parts.
Well, I don't think that would be like a linguistic thing. That would be kind of like an issue of metaphysics. But I just want to know what your last question was. Like you were saying that the Quran is uncreated.
Right. So you agree that the Quran is uncreated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but uncreated over here just means that it's something that is intrinsic to God. So anything that's intrinsic to God, anything that's within God, within that being is going to be uncreated. However,
so that Quran is the Quran a personal agent?
No, if you mean like the particular instance of speech, no, it's not an agent.
So can the Quran speak?
No, the Quran itself can't speak. If you mean the Quran like unrestrictedly, if you mean the Quran like we discussed last time, because remember you brought it up, we talked about the hadith where it says the Quran will turn to a pale man and all this, and then I showed you that fasting will also intercede for us and all of that. So it was just speaking about our actions. I remember I brought you Ibn Qutayba, who's from the
So
South.
it actually intercedes for us, correct?
Yeah.
So can anything
but
that
that's just
doesn't have
our action. If you remember last time when we spoke, that was just our actions being manifest, right? But I wanted to give from the uncreated thing because this is something that's often confusing.
Correct.
I remember
so go ahead and explain it. If you would love to explain it, and I'll ask questions if I need to.
Yeah. So the whole uncreated thing, just to be clear, anything that's intrinsic, so anything that's within God is uncreated. Just like, have you ever heard of Saint Gregory of Palamas?
No.
So this is pretty much who the Eastern Orthodox would typically take from. Now there is somewhat of a disagreement whether he held to the attributes being identical to God or not, but majority of people and scholars would say that he, obviously, when you read his works, that he believes in uncreated energies, which are going to be God's operations, his actions, and in these uncreated energies, not all of them are eternal.
Right.
So they are uncreated, they have a beginning, and they're within God, and they're not identical to each other. So that's probably the closest to the Christians that we would get. We would agree with that position, that there are uncreated properties within God that didn't, which is going to be his actions. He didn't always do that particular action. And
so
it's intrinsic, but it's not essential.
So he changes then?
Depends what you mean by change.
Well, no, he changes because you said he didn't always have these energies, right?
Yeah, if you just mean by change.
For example, our God does not change. Our God has always been and will ever be what he is.
Well, I disagree. I think I can give you arguments to say that your God does change, but I'm going to try to limit. I'm not going to try to give, unless you want to say your God changes and that disqualifies my God, then I can give you an argument against yours. But change is just the transition from state of affairs. So
right. So you're saying that God changed when he transformed, when he was manifested in the flesh.
I have different arguments to give about the whole.
Because I can refute that. I can refute that pretty easily. Because when we say God doesn't change, meaning his nature doesn't change. Taking on flesh does not change God's nature. He still is who he was always. Remember, it's like you putting on clothes. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change your essence or your nature. You just take on flesh.
I'd avoid the clothes analogy. I think that's a bit heretical, but
Well, no,
that's
I'm
why
just
typically.
it's an example. It's not. I'm not saying that it's the same, but what I'm saying is the nature of a man doesn't change when he
Yeah.
takes on clothes.
No, yeah, for sure, I agree. But you did do that. You didn't always do that particular action, and that action isn't separate from you. So it would be an intrinsic change. If you didn't put clothes on and then you put clothes on, that action was
No.
not always.
When we say the
done by you.
nature of God doesn't change, Jesus
Yeah,
never
I
changed.
say the same thing. If you mean by nature, as in like what's essential for
Well, no,
God,
but
then
you
yeah.
said he changed energy, meaning there's attributes that he didn't always possess.
Yeah. So actions over here would be considered an attribute or like a property. So I agree with Gregory of Palamas when he
So
says that.
let me ask you this: was he
there's,
always a creator?
Yeah. He's always called.
Was
the
there
creator,
any
just like
time
Gregory
where
of Palamas
Allah
believes.
did not create?
Yeah. People would say that there's a time in which he didn't create, and then he did create. But he's
So
called the creator.
how would he be a creator if he had not yet created?
Yeah, because that's something that's essential for him.
No, but what I'm asking is, how can you call yourself a creator? Like, for example, I'm not a painter.
Because he has the
I
ability
have
to
the
do so.
ability. Listen, I have the ability to paint. I can easily
Yeah.
pick up a brush and start stroking. But
Yeah, but
can
that's
I
not something
call
that's
myself
essential
a
to you.
painter if I've never painted?
Yeah. So if that's something that's essential to you, then I wouldn't say so. Just like speak. If you have the ability to speak, but you never speak, you're still like, you'd still be called a speaker.
So can I
You
call
still have the
myself
ability to do
anything
so.
I've never done, even though I have the potential to do it?
It just depends. If it's essential for you, then yeah, you would be called that
So
regardless.
can I call myself a hockey player, even though I've never played hockey?
No, you wouldn't be able to because it's not
But I
essential
have
to
the
you.
potential to learn and play, correct?
Yeah, but that's not essential to you, right? It's not necessary for you to have that ability to play hockey, is it?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's essential or not. It's just I can't
Of course
call
it does.
myself something I've never done just because I have the potential to do it.
Of course it does. It does matter. Just like, because look, I don't want to like bring too much hermeneutics, but I agree with Gregory of Palamas. I don't know if you've seen one time when, I don't know if everyone's seen this clip in the comments, at least who are tracking. There's a video where Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, talked to Bob the Builder, and Bob the Builder brought the same argument, and he got, he got belted on it. Why? Because Gregory of Palamas believes the same thing. God is the creator because he has the ability to create. It's not something that he learns. It's not something that is non-essential to him. This is something that's essential to him. So he's going to be called the creator. But yeah, that's pretty much our position. But when it comes to the uncreated thing, I wanted to just get back to that because we have to
Yeah, let's do
differentiate
that. Okay,
between
so
uncreated and like something that's uncreated and intrinsic and something that's going to be uncreated and essential. So we differentiate just like the Eastern Orthodox would say that there is things that are intrinsic to God. However, something that's intrinsic is not always essential. For example, God's particular action to create the universe is intrinsic to him, but that's not essential. He doesn't have to create the universe.
correct.
But I've seen that you've been having Q-Top a lot on your live, and he holds the position of something called divine simplicity.
Correct.
And divine simplicity pretty much states that God has this one act from eternity, and then there's like this specification by which the creation would come into existence, and God also doesn't have quote-unquote parts. So that's they say God's not composed.
Right.
And I just wanted to get your understanding of what you consider a part.
Well, I mean, if he's made of different parts, for example, I don't get into the metaphysical, philosophical discussions about the nature of God most of the time because I'm kind of learning, and I think we've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's actually honestly fun just kind of learning this stuff because to explain God metaphysically and philosophically is really interesting to me because I've never really got into this side of Christian apologetics. So I guess my understanding, right, in the difference, and you correct me if I'm wrong because you're deeper in this than I am.
For sure.
So when we say that Allah is made of parts, right, meaning Allah is a composite of things that make him Allah, correct? Like being all merciful, being the creator, right? And having these attributes that make Allah who he is, correct?
Yeah, without the properties, he wouldn't be
Right.
himself.
And you guys say that these attributes are not one with Allah's essence, but these are distinct from Allah, correct?
Well, when you say one with his essence, do you mean like identical to
Like
his
divine
essence? Because,
simplicity, where it's just a part of who he is.
I mean, we'd say it is like, I mean, he's not identical to them, but he possesses them. And when you say essence, we just take essence to be like a set of like essential properties over here.
Okay,
Essence
so
is just going to be
there are many
what's-
components that make Allah one, correct?
Yeah, like I hold to something that's called it's called constituent ontology. So we say that there's multiple, like an attribute is not going to be the subject himself. It's going to be a constituent of the subject, just like
So,
Palamas believes.
okay. So how many of these substances or how many of these parts make up Allah?
Well, I can't give a specific set to like how many attributes there are. We know that there was revealed 99 names, and in our theology, each name would entail an attribute. But
Okay. So we have Allah.
I can't limit them. I can't
So we
say that
have
there's
Allah,
a specific amount.
and
'Cause I
then
don't
we
have
have these 99 attributes, or you said there could be more, could be less. I mean, could be more. We have these components that make Allah who He is, right? And Allah cannot be Allah without these.
He can't. If there was one of them, if there was one attribute that was essential and he doesn't possess it, then he wouldn't be himself.
Okay, so that's why we say Allah depends on something external from Himself to exist.
I don't know about that, because when you say external to himself, like this is an argument that is brought by Divine Simplest. I'm sure that you probably got this from Q-Top or something, but
I've heard
when
it.
you
I've
say
heard
that,
it. But yes, big shout out to Q. That's a
yeah.
bad
So when you say something that God depends on something other than himself, when you say himself, if you mean as in he has properties that aren't identical to him, and he that aren't identical to him, and he does external, you're implying that the attributes exist
So
separate
again,
from his
okay,
being.
so you agree that something could be separate or not separate, but distinct from, correct?
Yeah, there's a distinction, just
So
like the
when
Trinity.
we say the Father, the Son, or Holy Spirit are one, but yet they're distinct, you should agree with with that theological disposition, correct?
I'll tell you why not. Because when it comes to the Trinity, the arguments that we give is that there's either three gods or a contradiction. But why is that?
Well, then
Because
why is there not 99 gods then?
I'll tell you, yeah, that's a very good question. I enjoy that. I love this question. The reason why is because each attribute is not called Allah. Just like you say the persons are each called God. Well, if we apply the classical counting method, and I'm just quoting Bo Branson when he says, if X is F and Y is F, if X is F and Y is F, for example, the Father is God, and the Son is God, and the Son is not identical to the Father, then we would count two gods. But we don't say the attributes are each God. We say
Well, let
that
me
they
ask you a question, Umar. Is only God uncreated?
as in, like, what do you mean as in God? Like the essence?
Is only God uncreated?
No, he has uncreated properties.
Ah, so you believe that there are uncreated things other than God?
If you say other than God, as in it's not identical to him, then and it's not separate from him, then yeah. But uncreated
Then you
doesn't
have
equal
well,
to
there you
God.
go. Well, then you have multiple gods. Because we in Christianity only believe God is the only uncreated thing.
Good one, Darren. Okay, so let's see about that. Do you
So
believe his
even if
actions
you
are
say-
uncreated?
Wait, say that again?
Do you believe his actions are uncreated?
Who, God's actions?
Yeah.
What do you mean? They are created in time. So when God does them in the realm of time, they become created.
His actions are created? Oh, okay.
When God acts
wow.
in creation, for example, when God split the
Oh,
sea,
wow.
the sea split in creation.
Oh,
When
man.
God spoke his word, remember he said the words that I speak are what? Spirit. And their life.
I don't know
But
any
when he
Christian who
spoke
says his
them, he
actions are
spoke them
uncreated.
in the
man.
realm of time.
But
And
let
we
me just
believe
address
that God was manifested in creation, in the flesh. The Bible
Yeah,
says
yeah.
in the fullness of time, God what? Sent forth his son.
Let me just address the whole uncreated thing, because being uncreated doesn't satisfy being God. I'll tell you why. Because uncreated just means that it's within God. Now, you can say God is uncreated, meaning that no one created him, obviously, but it's not sufficient to say if anything is uncreated that must be God.
But you
That
said
could be a
it's in
property
God.
of God. Yeah, just like Gregory. So let me just
So
understand.
is there anything in God that is not God?
Yeah, it's not identical to him. His properties are not God. They're not identical to him.
So you're
If you
saying
mean
his
as in
properties
they're,
could be in God, but yet not be God at the same time?
it's not identical to him, no. So I'll just explain. Like Gregory Palamas believes, I believe the same thing. I believe that there's multiple uncreated actions in God, and there's multiple properties that are uncreated, and they're not identical to God. just like Gregory Palamas. So if I'm a polytheist, then Gregory Palamas must also be a polytheist. But the thing is, uncreated is not equal to God. So you could say uncreated is divine, but divine just means that it's intrinsic to God and it's not identical to him. So I'm not getting if there's like an argument over here, but
well, I'm just asking.
There's a difference between.
Yeah, you look. I'm just asking questions, my guy, because I'm trying to get your understanding of, what is.
Look, I'll give you an example, Derron. You take God knows that that he's not Derron, right? God knows that he's not Derron. God knows that he is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Now, these are what's going to be called in his knowledge propositions. Propositions is going to be something that's apt to true. It's going to be something that's true or false. The statement that's true or false. And within his knowledge, you're not going to say that God knowing Derron is the same way that he knows himself, right?
Right.
So that's two different aspects of his knowledge that aren't each other. And a part, as divine simplest, as Q-Top would define a part, all your friends, the way that they define a part is something about the subject that's not the whole of it. So now the question becomes, is God knowing that Derron exists the whole of his knowledge?
It's a part of the whole of his knowledge.
A part of the whole of his knowledge. So
you're
now,
saying if God knowing that I exist, is it all of his knowledge? No. God knows way more.
Perfect. So it's part of his knowledge.
Correct.
And the argument that divine simplists give is that something that has parts must have been composed. So then my question...
No. It's not distinct from all of his knowledge, though. Just because it's a part of his knowledge doesn't mean it's separate or distinct from all of his knowledge. For example, if I have a bowl of M&Ms, right? If I have a bowl of M&Ms and all those M&Ms are my knowledge, it's in with all of my knowledge. It's not separate from that bowl, right? It just means there's a part of my knowledge which is included in all of my knowledge.
Oh, okay. So just like that, from my position, that's the same thing now, is that something that's uncreated doesn't necessarily mean just because it's distinct, it's separate, and there could be multiple uncreated realities within God.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
So hold on. So you believe the same thing as me, Derron? Because when you say that,
so you believe like Trinitarians? You believe like Trinitarians?
I'm saying in this aspect, because when you say that God does have that aspect is a part of his knowledge, then the argument that divine simplest would give you, Derron, is they'll say anything that has parts must have a composer. So then now the question I give you is, who composed your God's knowledge?
Well, no, we don't. There is no composer. Jesus is that knowledge. Remember, the Bible calls him the Logos, the Word of God made flesh, the very Logos of God in human form. The Bible says that Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Jesus is the knowledge of God manifested in human flesh.
Mm-hmm. No,
there's no parts. There is no parts.
No, I get that he is the knowledge, but there is something within God's knowledge that is not the same as the other. That God knows, God knowing that you exist is not the same way of knowing that he exists. So that's
there's no separation. He just knows both exist. There's no like you can't separate that. You're separating it. There is no separation between what God knows. That's where we get the word all knowing from. And we believe that Jesus also was all knowing.
Perfect. Yep. So just like that.
Ain't that right, Sid? Didn't I cook you on Mark 13:32?
he's trying to get Sid in.
You remember that, Sid?
Hey, Derron. Just like that, Derron. Just like that.
Sid will tell you I got him with that one.
Hey, Sid, just like that.
I cooked him on that.
Just like that, Derron. There's multiple uncreated attributes in God. And they're not separate, so it's not multiple gods, and it's not parts. Just like there's multiple different aspects of your God's knowledge, and they're not separate from him, and it's not parts. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, can you read Sunan Majah 3781 for me? We'll push forward a little bit. We're gonna push forward a little in this conversation. I think we're not on the strict. I mean, we got plenty of time. We're good to go. I just want to make sure we kind of move the conversation forward because I have a lot.
Is this a pale man? Because my computer is a little bit running slow for some reason.
Yeah. So it says this. It was narrated by Ibn Buradada that his father told that the messenger of Allah said, the Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pale man and will say, I am the one that kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day. So the Quran,
Mhm.
is it a personal agent? Yes or no?
If you mean the Quran as in the property of God, then no. If you mean that as in the manifestation of our action of reciting it, that can
So,
become manifest and that can intercede for us.
well, let me ask you a question because I think you're quoting Sahih Muslim 804, but I'm asking you about Sunan Majid 3781. It says the Quran, not a Quran or a version of the Quran. It says the Quran will come on the day of
And I'll tell you,
resurrection like a pale man.
and I'll tell you why there's justification for me to believe this.
Yeah, go
Because
ahead.
there's another hadith in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad where he says that our fasting will also intercede for us. But fasting isn't some kind of personal agent. It's talking about our action of reciting.
Correct. But it's not that's different though. We're talking about the uncreated speech.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's in that category or not. It just matters whether we can say, is fasting some kind of personal agent, whether it's created or uncreated? And if we can establish that it isn't, then we can say, look, we can contextualize these hadith together. We can say, look, it's talking about our action over here. And if you look at the early belief of the Muslims, which is going to be those who have the better understanding, obviously, to the text. I quoted you last time we had this discussion, Ibn Qutaybah, who was an early one. Imam Ahmed. So I have actually two books to show you over here. I don't like to show my books to people, but let me just show you because. And look, if you want, I can send you the references to these. I just don't.
Yeah, please.
Want to open these right now. But you can screenshot this. This is Al-Radd ala al-Zanadiqa wal-Jahmiyyah. So Imam Ahmed took that understanding that's talking about our. And by the way, Derron, this argument is something that was brought by the Jahmiyyah. So over here where it says wal-Jahmiyyah, this is the heretical
I
sect.
agree. I think it's a great argument to bring.
Yeah, well, they got baked. I'm telling you right now.
That's based on opinion though. That's not.
They got cooked,
this is not the Prophet Muhammad or even Allah saying this. These are arguments of the scholars, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is how the early generations of Muslims took it, and the Prophet told us to follow these generations, so they would have the better understanding. So this is another one called Naqd Uthman bin Sa'id al-Darimi. It's probably around this side of the book. I don't know, somewhere around in the middle, or close to the end, where he brings the argument that, well, this isn't referring, and he used the same argument as me, that it isn't referring to the Quran as in the uncreated property of God itself, but rather it's referring to our actions. And then he quotes the hadith. He brings evidence that we have the hadith that speak about our fasting manifesting for us to intercede. So that's all it is over there. I don't think that argument is something that people should. It's kind of like a Sam Shimon type of.
Well, let's do this.
Argument.
Let's read because you kind of brought up Sahih Muslim 804. You were kind of made a reference to Sahih Muslim 804. So let's read it. It says, "Recite the Quran, for it will come on the day of resurrection to intercede for its companions."
Yeah, but I never brought that. I was referring to Sunan ibn Majah because I know what the pale man thing says.
Right. Well, this kind of piggybacks on that because it says recite the Quran.
I can put.
For it will come. So what will come?
Yeah. So when it's saying that it as in the Quran over here, it's talking about our act of reciting it. It's not talking about
the act, or is it talking about the Quran?
Well, I'm telling you, when you say Quran, if you mean Quran unrestrictedly, I don't want to use big words like simplicator and all.
So the Quran has multiple meanings?
When you say unrestrictedly, then yeah, that's not going to be unrestricted. That's going to be the recitation. And when you say, for example, Derron, when I say, do you have a Quran in your home? Like I have a Quran in my home. I pick the Quran up. I call it the Quran, but what I actually have in my hand is a mushaf. I'm not holding like some kind of, because look, the content of the speech is uncreated, but the speech itself is not some kind of substance floating outside of God.
I agree.
That's
not my argument. The Quran is the recitation, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the words on the page, but the Quran is the recitation.
No, it's the content as well. It's not just mere reciting it. It's the content.
Right. Okay, so it's the content, right?
Yeah.
So when it says this, I'm going to read it slow because I really want you to get what I'm saying. It says recite what? The Quran. So it's talking about reciting the content of the Quran, correct?
Yep.
Is the content of the Quran created or uncreated?
The content is uncreated.
Okay, again, it says recite. Let's use that definition. Recite the uncreated recitation of the Quran. For it will come on the day of resurrection to intercede for its companions. So what's coming on the day of resurrection? Is it that recitation of the Quran?
It's
Or
our
is it my recitation of the Quran that this is talking about?
It's going to be the act of reciting it.
Well, okay, right. So, but it says recite the Quran, for it will come. And so you're saying that saying
and all I'm doing.
You're saying that it is my recitation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's your action of reciting it. I already explained how we're using like hermeneutical principles over here, and what we're going to do is we're not just going to take one hadith and just run with it. We're going to see if we can reconcile it with others and give some kind of interpretation, and look at how the early Muslims understood it. Like, look, Derron, if you brought someone from like 1,000 years later or something, I'd understand. I'd say like, yeah, maybe you might say you don't have as much justification for believing in how you understand these ahadith. But the fact that I can show other ahadith saying that fasting will intercede for us. Well, fasting is not a personal agent.
Correct.
And it's not some kind of substance. So it's our act of doing so. And then what's more likely is when we look at the earliest people who had this understanding, they were from the Salaf. They were from the 3 generations after the Prophet, who he told us to follow.
Right.
So what we're going to say is,
so you can kind of get an understanding of my theological disposition when it comes to the Quran and its relation to these hadiths. We believe that a lot of your scholars did a lot of cleanup, right? A lot of we believe that Quran can't stand on its own, and that a lot of your scholars come later and they try to correct a lot of things in the Quran. So when you refer to some of the scholars in the Quran and some of the things that they say about the Quran, it really doesn't hold too much weight, I guess, in our paradigm, because we see the discrepancies, we see the mistakes that are made in the Quran, and most of your scholars come behind it just to kind of do cleanup duty.
I think, look, when you're saying your scholars cleanup, I think that's just a claim, right? Because I could say, like, I think that your scholars did a bunch of cleanup,
right? And you do
to your understanding of the Trinity and so on and so forth, right?
And you do, right?
No, we didn't. It's not considered cleanup. So what did I do first, Derron? What I did first was I showed you another hadith that talks about fasting being manifest.
Correct.
And
but
I use this as justification.
The uncreated speech of Allah.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's created or uncreated. It's just showing the fact that fasting is not some kind of personal agent, and nor is our action of reciting. It's it being manifest. So, yeah, it's also an internal critique. But look, guys, he can do an external critique. I really don't care. The thing is, Derron, what's more likely when you say that we go to the earliest Muslims and get their understanding,
right?
Or if you're, because look, I can now flip it on you and I can say, Derron, you're putting your own interpretation on it.
Correct. Which is disgusting. Yeah, absolutely.
So then now where do we go?
Yeah.
Because I gave some kind of like.
But see, here's the thing: when you guys do that to us, right? Like when you go to the Bible and you try to teach us what the Bible says and some of the discrepancies that you guys feel are in the Bible, and we show you evidence and things like that. I mean, you still try to pick it apart, and so I mean, it's the same thing. We're just trying to pick it apart.
But Derron, we're contextualists. If I give you a verse in the Bible and I say, look, according to this verse, it says this, and then I give you like 2 church fathers and I say, look, on top of me reading it this way, I'm showing you 2 church fathers who are early when it comes to this, and they have the same understanding as me. Then I'd say, well, considering the fact that this individual, he was a student of Polycarp, whatever, had this understanding, then I'd say you don't have as much justification as I do for believing in this. But I'm giving you Uthman bin Sa'id al-Darimi. I'm giving you Ibn Qutaybah. I'm giving you Imam Ahmed, who you can ask. You can go to Rob Christian, all your friends, and ask them, who are these guys? I'd be shocked if they don't know. Then that's a big problem on their part, because these are huge figures. And we've dealt with this argument pertaining to the Quran already when it came to the Jahmiyyah. And I mean, they got baked.
Okay.
Needless to say.
Awesome. Okay. I mean, hey, look, we don't see things the same, especially when it comes to like the Quran, which is called the uncreated speech of Allah, but you say it's distinct from Allah. It is not Allah, but you see where we kind of like give a side eye. Like if there's anything uncreated besides Allah, there's a problem.
Okay. So would that be polytheism in your belief?
Of course, because there should be only one created being, which is God.
Okay.
When we say something is uncreated, we believe that there's no beginning nor end. It just is.
Well, that's where we differ. And that's where also Gregory of Palamas differs, because you just called Gregory of Palamas a polytheist, Derron.
And who's that?
Gregory of Palamas is going to be a very... Yeah, so he's like... have you ever heard of Ibn Taymiyyah?
Yeah.
He's like the Ibn Taymiyyah for the Eastern Orthodox.
Got it.
And now you just called him a polytheist because he believes in multiple uncreated energies, which
What?
did not always exist. They're not eternal. They're
What energies
uncreated.
were those?
Yeah, they're the energies over here.
What?
It just refers to his operations, right? His actions.
Well, no, nothing exists outside of God to us. God is all in all. He is the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Wait,
He
hold
was
on.
and is to
Darren,
come. He is. God said, "I am the beginning and the end."
Wait, there,
He created all
backtrack
things,
real
and He will
quick.
be after all things.
You just said nothing exists outside of God for us. Like, do you exist outside of God?
No, okay. Do you understand what I meant?
I'm just trolling you. You got to correct yourself over there. People might clip that out and be like, "Hey, man, you might
No,
believe
what
that
I'm
you're God,
okay.
man."
Let me explain it. Let me explain it this way, Umar, so you don't get caught. God
Yeah,
is
go
the
ahead, man.
beginning and the end. He is the first and the last.
Uh-huh.
Meaning, He was the first thing that was, and He will be the last thing that there will ever be. Is God.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're just saying that only God.
You
is
believe that there's something that exists outside of God, uncreated alongside of God.
No, I don't.
You just said that the Quran is uncreated. The attributes of Allah are uncreated, and they exist distinct from Allah.
Okay. Would
Did
you
you
say
not
that?
say that? Wait, did you
Would
say
you-
that? Yes or no?
Yeah, but that's not. going to
Okay,
be
so
separate.
there are multiple gods. There are
But that's not
multiple
separate.
things that
Distinction.
exist alongside
I think
Allah.
we're
that is not Allah.
conflating. I think that you're like collapsing distinction and separation over here. Would you say that the persons are distinct from God?
Wait, is God a person? Is Allah a person?
If you just mean as a rational agent, yeah.
Okay, so Allah is a person, and then that there are also uncreated things that exist outside of His person.
If you're saying outside of his being, then no, obviously not.
What about
A
outside of His person?
person
So
would
you
refer to his
believe that
being.
Allah is one, but within Allah there's a person, and there are other uncreated things inside of that essence.
Just say that God is a person, and He has many attributes.
Do
I don't know
those
why you're
attributes
complicating it.
exist inside of Allah, or are they distinct from Allah?
They exist inside the subject.
Okay, so
And that's
you
still a
agree.
distinction. I don't know why you're saying exist inside, or are they distinct? Because distinct is just saying that there's a difference between each attribute.
So now you
Just
got
like-
a form of Trinity. So here's the thing, Umar.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in Allah, that He is uncreated and eternal. But alongside of this uncreated and eternal being called Allah, there exist
Mm-hmm.
attributes that make Allah exist, correct?
What do you mean by make exist? As in He
Bro, meaning
needs them
He
to
cannot
exist?
exist without these attributes, essentials.
Yeah,
In
just
order
like the
to be Allah,
uh-huh.
they are
Just like-
not Allah. They're not identical to Allah. They distinct apart from Allah, and they make Allah
Yep.
exist, correct?
Just like in order for the Father to be the Father, there has to be the Son.
Correct. But that's actually in relation to His person. That's not in relation to the essence. They all relate to the essence the same way, but they are distinct from each other in relation. Does that make sense?
You mean that they're identical to the essence?
They all are identical to the essence, but they are distinct in their relation to each other, correct?
So knowledge is identical to God's essence?
That's why Jesus said, I and my Father are what? One.
Yeah,
He said, I can do
so
nothing
you would
of
say,
myself. I do only what I see. I can speak nothing of myself. I speak only what I hear.
so real quick, Darren, you would say that God's knowledge is identical to His essence?
God's knowledge is knowledge is identical to Himself. He is the Word
Okay.
of God.
So
God-
knowledge,
Jesus
but you
is
would
the
say
Word
that
of
knowledge
God
is
made
a,
flesh.
so you would say that knowledge is an attribute.
Wait, so are
This
we switching to a Trinitarian position? Or are we still investigating?
No,
Tawhid?
I just wanted to address this real quick because you would say that knowledge is an
Jesus
attribute.
is the knowledge of God manifested in human flesh. He's the Logos, the very thoughts and intents of God in human form.
It just seems like,
His job was
before I get
come
back to
into the earth
Tawhid,
to make the Father known.
before I get back to Tawhid, it just seems like in your view, Darren, that God is a property.
No, God is a person. God is an essence. In that essence, there exist three persons that all coexist in that essence. It's the
Does he
Father,
have-
Son, and
does
Holy
God
Spirit.
have attributes?
And though they're distinct in relation, but not distinct in their what is the word? They're not distinct.
They're not
in their,
distinct.
in their
I know
essence,
they're
right?
not. I know you say that they're not distinct in essence. Look, I don't want to address this too much because I don't want to critique your
Well, no,
position.
I think
because
we're agreeing. No, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, because
believe
Darren, in your
that
view,
there's
we
one.
just-
Watch this. There's
Okay,
one
go ahead.
essence, and in that essence, there exists three persons. You believe Allah is one, right? Allah, and then
Mm-hmm.
in Allah, there is distinct different parts that make Him Allah. They're not persons. We
You say
believe there are three
attributes, yeah.
persons. You believe there are multiple different attributes that exist in this one person that actually make Him Allah.
But I just want to let you understand our contention with you guys is
Am I
that you
right?
say each person is God. So when you say each person is God, and especially this view that you're taking, it seems like the Thomistic view, what Yaq'ub takes, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to give you like a philosophical argument or anything against the Trinity, but I'm just going to mention this real quick for at least the other Christians in the chat to understand. And this is my experience as well from the Christians that I've seen on this app who have held this position, ended up believing it. Because if you're saying that the persons are identical to the essence and the relations are identical to the essence, so the persons are identical to the essence, and then the way that you distinguish each person is also identical to the essence, that's going to be absolute identity, and then that would mean that the Father would be the Son. Because if A is equal to B, well, I'll tell you why. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then what would A equal to, Derron?
No. Listen, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are distinct in person. Every time Jesus, I don't know how to explain it philosophically, that maybe that's a conversation for you and Q.
Yeah, that's just question
all
begging,
according
but
to
you
the
can explain
scriptures,
that.
there's a distinction even before his conception. There was a
But now you're
distinction
going to
in
the
person.
scriptures. That's just question begging because.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm just telling you my position. I'm not. Look, you bring in a philosophical argument.
That's why I didn't want to give you that. I didn't want to give you that, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that what my position when it comes to.
I would love to give you
diversity,
some scriptures. To
how
prove
that
my
would
point.
follow, because the scriptures and all of that, I can grant the scripture and all of this, but if it's a contradiction, it's a contradiction, man. That's the problem.
Well, there's no contradiction. For God to be manifested in the flesh is not a contradiction.
Oh, I didn't say manifest.
Okay, what Muslims say is that to not be God and to be God at the same time is a contradiction. You're right. But we don't believe that God is God and not God at the same time. There's no contradiction for God to become.
Well, that's not really the
a
argument that I
human
gave. You're kind of like putting a different argument in my mouth. I said that if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, what would A equal to, Derron? Like, what do you think A would equal to?
My guy, look, let me. You're doing way too much.
Okay, look, I'll get back to I'll get back to Allah, bro. I don't want to
Let's
confuse you. Let's get back to Allah.
that's exactly what you do.
Okay,
You're
so
trying to catch me in words. And
okay, so my position, Darren. It would be A would be equal to C. It's not.
All right, let's do
complicated.
this.
I'll get back to Allah though.
I'm gonna
Allah
give you
has,
one of.
Let me just continue real quick. Allah has different properties. Okay, they're not identical to Him. You're trying to say that they would be parts. Now, when you say that they're parts,
Well, I say that, or do you say that? Are they parts? Or are they not parts?
well, what do you mean by part?
Is Allah's attributes a part of Allah? Are these different parts of Allah?
But Darren, we're trying to understand what constitutes something to be a part over here. That's why these.
Part. You know what a part is? I don't have to explain to you what a part is. For like
Okay.
a car, there's different parts that make up a car, correct?
Okay, let's give an example.
You have the
Darren,
steering wheel,
If I
you have
have,
the pedal, you have the gear, you have the hood, you have the engine, you have the trunk, you have the seats. These are different parts that make up a car. Does Allah
Yeah, but
have
parts would be
different
something
parts
that's
that make
separable.
him Allah? Yes or no?
in my view, a part is something that's just separable.
That is
Can be
separate.
detached. Yeah. So Darren, let me just give you an example. You see these books.
But wait,
If I take this book and stack it on top of that one,
correct.
and each book is a part. Would you say
Of
that
what?
this formed?
No,
would you say-
this book is a part of what? What is that book a part of?
Yep. Okay, perfect. That's what I'm getting to. If I stack this book on this one, would you say that this stack of books now forms some kind of new whole?
If you want to say, let's call it a library.
Okay. Would you say
It's a
that
library. That
if
book is a part of the library,
If I
right?
stacked this book on top of this, would this form a new whole now? And we would call these three books something else? I would still call this a book, this a book, and this a book.
Correct.
The problem when you talk about parts, Darren, that we're getting into
No,
something.
but all those
a bit-
books are identical to each other. His attributes are not all identical to each other. They're distinct from each other. That's
Hold
why
on.
you say there's 99 different
Darren,
parts.
wait. Darren, man, no, man. What are you doing? What do you mean all... You said that all these books are identical to each other?
Okay, for example, they are all
Come on,
called
man.
books, right? Are they all books or not?
Yeah, but they're not identical to each other.
Okay, again, we're pretending that all those books are the same.
Yeah, they fit in the category of what a book
All
is.
attributes are not the same. Meaning God's ability to create is not his that's not Allah being all merciful. These are different parts. They're not all called books.
So,
These are
Darren,
attributes, but they're different. Correct?
let's just break that down. With the books, you said that they're all identical to each other. Why did you say they're identical to each other? Because
I'm saying
all in
because
that
they're all books.
Because they're all books. Beautiful. Okay, so let's
Thank
go
you.
with that. Okay, so
Thank
you're
you.
in the cat. Okay, so you're in the cat. So they co-refer to each other because they're all books. Let's go with that now. I'm going to reduce your position to something crazy now. You're in the category.
watch this shit.
Okay, so you're in the category existence, and a turd is also in the category of existence. Would you say in that sense that you?
What are you talking?
Darren, I'm trying to appeal to your
I can't,
intuition,
bro.
man.
You're doing too
I'm,
much,
I'm,
bro.
I'm trying to appeal to your intuition
No,
here because
you're doing
I'm gonna
too
make
much,
I'm gonna
dog.
make you change your view now.
This ain't it anymore.
Darren, would you
Change
say
your
that?
argument, bro. Change your argument.
Okay,
That ain't it.
okay,
You
I'll
went
say.
off on some whole nother stuff.
Okay,
man.
I'll say a cat. I'll say a cat. There's a cat, and this is all in the category of what exists, and you're also in that category of what exists. Would you say, in that sense, that you are co-referential to a cat?
Umar, what are you talking about, bro? I'm lost.
Would,
Is it
okay, Darren, are you identical to a cat?
I am not tracking this dude.
Darren, would you say that you're identical to a cat in the
No,
sense
I'm
that
not.
you both exist?
I am not identical to it. And
So then the book,
to be identical to me means there has to be another me.
there has to be another you. How would there be?
To
How would
be
there be another you?
identical? Okay, what does it mean to be identical? Umar.
If so, when it comes to classical identity in the literature, at least, if two things share the same properties, then they're identical.
Okay, so if we share the same, so is me and Sid identical by definition?
No,
Okay, do we share the same properties?
no,
Okay, we don't.
no.
What properties does he have that I don't have?
He's white and you're black. Darren, man. Hey, Darren, what are you doing, man? Hey, Darren, what are you doing, man?
Are we both flesh? Are we both
You're
human?
funny, man.
Wait,
You're
let me ask you
funny.
a question. Are we both flesh and blood?
Yeah, you're both.
We're both
man.
human.
You're both.
We both
human.
have hair. We both have eyes. We both have nose. We both
yeah.
have ears. We both have two legs. We both have two arms. We both walk. We both have a mother. We both have a father. But the only thing you say is that his skin is darker than my skin is darker than his. For real?
Well, there's a spatial distinction. There's that. There's the fact that you came into existence at different times. There's different size of nose. There's plenty of things. Different
I
color
love
hair.
it. See, hey guys, this is how the conversation should go, man. I know we be off on some other stuff, but this is actually a good conversation.
Let me tell you what this means, Darren. When you say that two things are identical, it's with them. When you say that two things are identical, it's with them. 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 They have the same properties and they're identical. The law of identity is going. That's what's going to be the law of identity. It's going to be satisfied by Leibniz's law.
Right.
Now, I know you don't know what that is, but I'll break it down. If two things, so first of all, x equal to y would mean that what's true of x is true of y. So what's true of Sid would be true of you.
Right.
And then if two things share the same properties, then you'd be identical. You don't share the same properties.
So we would have to
as
be
Sid.
actually identical, right? Like we
Yeah,
have
it's
to
not
be
just
exactly the same.
it's not just about being human or any of that.
Correct.
It's about
I
every
got
single
you.
property. So
I
I'll
love
give
it.
you
Right.
I'll give you an example. What there's someone called Max Black, and he said that he gave the example to try and critique this law to say if two things share the same properties, they're identical. And then he gave an example of two identical red spheres. He said that these spheres were identical, they were equally red and same size, all of this, excuse me. And he tried to argue that this breaks that law, that they're no longer identical. I mean, they are identical, but there's two of them. So he said that could be the case. Now, the problem with that over there is I would say there is a distinction because they're spatially separate.
Yeah.
And because they're spatially separate, if I were to kick the left ball, the right one wouldn't get kicked.
Right.
So they're not identical. So this law is counting every single attribute, every single property over here. So when you say that you're identical to Sid, that means when I refer to Derron, I refer to Sid. And that's false.
No.
Yeah. So back to the whole.
Hey, look, that's something I'm gonna have to learn a little bit more about. But that's a good analogy. I'm gonna get back to you on that because I know how do you say his name?
His name is Leibniz. So
Layman's laws. I heard you say that it was categorically dependent. What does that mean?
Categorically dependent. What do you? I don't know.
Okay, so maybe that's a
What is that
conversation.
supposed to mean? Yeah.
Maybe that's the conversation you and Q gonna have.
Yeah,
That's
we'll have to
gonna
talk
be a
about
pretty
that.
good conversation because I think you guys are on the same. Well, you guys can go toe to toe when it comes to.
I would say Derron, I wouldn't
Before
pick up all that stuff that you're learning from these guys because this idea of divine simplicity, you're going to figure out that it's a whole load of disappointment. But back to the whole like distinction thing, I believe that God has multiple different attributes. They're not each other. Now, when it comes to parts, there's something called mereology. This is just going to be the study of part-whole relationships. What makes something apart? What doesn't make something apart? Now, even if I can even devil's advocate this position. I've seen people do it. I could say, like, honestly, Derron, what would you say right now if somebody came up to you and said, God has parts, now what?
Hey, hold on real quick, you guys. I got people doing yard work outside, so I got to fix my
No, it's
Got
all good. Take,
camera set up upstairs. Just hold on. Give me 1 second, all right?
yeah,
Don't
take your
worry,
time, man.
man. Don't
Can you
worry.
guys hear me or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
Don't
hear you,
worry.
but take your time.
Yeah, I can't hear y'all. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, hold on real quick. I gotta fix my. I gotta go upstairs, bro, because they're doing yard work outside and it's super loud.
Don't worry, bro. Guys, can you double tap the screen
I'm gonna
and
mute
share
my-
the live, please? Guys, please keep tapping the screen and sharing the live, please. So we got more people to join. A lot of people requesting Yaq'ub to come up, but he can come up after Derron and Umar. When Umar and Derron finish their discussion, he can come up, bro, if he wants to.
In, a source, because I like to be fair to the Eastern Orthodox. I know that I had that discussion with Nick, and he said, "Oh my God, you're lying about the source and all this," and then all the Christians said he was wrong. So let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. If you can make my screen big real quick, because I just have some concern, Darren. You called someone as big as Gregory of Palamas a polytheist today, so we just have to
I didn't say
dissect this a
that.
little bit.
First of all, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. You
Well,
brought
I
his
mean,
name. I didn't bring his name
You said
up.
if somebody holds to that position, it would be polytheistic. So
Wait, if anybody holds to the existing, go ahead and re-clarify that. What
yeah,
position are you talking about?
if somebody believes that there's multiple uncreated things in God or multiple uncreated realities in God that didn't always exist and they're not each other, then that would be polytheism.
Well, no, I just said there's nothing that exists out. There's nothing uncreated but God. God is the only uncreated thing. And if you say that there is anything that is uncreated other than God, then it is what it is.
Okay, well that's a problem now, Darren, because Palamas, do you think that he thinks that these energies are God?
There's no energy that existed before God.
So you think that the energies always existed?
No, God always existed.
Okay,
God is
okay,
the
perfect.
origin. God is the origin of all creation. Meaning there's nothing that existed outside of God before God decided to create.
Perfect. So could
Wait,
you
do you
fix the screen,
wait?
Sid?
Hold on, wait.
Make
Do
it
you
big?
believe that there are other things that existed outside of God before He
Separate
created?
from God, separate from God. No. Okay, so that's polytheistic.
Okay, well,
There's
welcome.
nothing
There you
separate
go.
from him.
Then what are we
Yeah,
talking
so it's just concerning because you said that if it's not God, so it would have to be identical to God, right?
No, there's nothing identical to God.
Is God identical to God?
God is. There's nothing outside of God. There's nothing before God and nothing after God. God is the source of all creation. All the energies that you could possibly, and it's funny because I don't even know anything what you're talking about, but I'm saying there's nothing that exists outside of God. There's no energy, nothing that existed before God. So there's nothing uncreated that existed alongside God before God decided to create. And
Would
if
you say that?
believe that, you're in trouble. So do you believe
Yeah,
that
I
there are
already
energies-
agreed.
Wait. Do you believe that there are other energies that existed outside of God before He
No,
decided to
they don't
create?
exist. They don't exist outside of him. No, of course not.
Okay, there you go.
The only concern that I have, Darren,
We should
is
be on the same page.
you had a problem with multiple uncreated realities that aren't each other and they're not God, right?
What do you mean?
Like me,
clarify.
I say that. I say that.
I don't want you to catch me slipping in words, man.
No, like for me, for example, I'll just explain my position. You'll agree and not agree. So in my position, I say that God has multiple actions that He can do successively, but each act is not the same as the other act, and it's also uncreated, but it's not separate from God.
See, now you get into feel like, see, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to catch your boy slipping in this philosophical.
Bro, you brought it up, man. You
No, you keep
were
bringing
asking
it
me.
up. I'm
You were
bringing
asking
it
me
up.
if God changes and He has parts
you
and stuff
keep
like
taking
this.
us there, homie.
Okay, I'll just read this out. You don't have to respond. So Gregory of Palma says, but even if this man considers that everything that has a beginning is created, we for our part know that while all the energies of God are uncreated, not all are without beginning. So he says that God has uncreated energies that did not always exist. They have a beginning. They're not each other. They're not eternal. And that would be change. So would you say that Gregory of Palamas believed that God changes in that
I
sense?
don't know. I'd have to study his position. I don't know.
Okay,
Not based
no problem.
based on what you're saying. I'd have to actually really go back and read what he actually meant by what he meant by what he said. Why he said that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much my position. I believe because
but-
what he's saying over there is that these energies are just his operations. They're considered his actions, and I believe that God acts, temporally. You could say in time. God acts in time,
Right.
and He does one act after another, and so on and so forth. So in that sense, Gregory of Palamas believes that God does change.
Perfect. All right.
So I agree with Gregory of Palamas.
Let's get back on track because we're limited time here.
Yep.
So I want to run you through an argument that I've been doing on my panel, and it's been pretty fun actually. We've been having a great time doing it, and I want to get your honest answer because I think you're more knowledgeable than most. So maybe you can give us maybe a different perspective on this argument because we believe that Allah, even according to the Quran, had a son.
If it's the whole deadbeat thing, I don't want that disrespectful stuff.
Well, no, we're not. I won't do that.
Yeah.
Out of respect for you, I won't do that. But I do want to ask you these questions because I want to see how you would respond to each question. But I won't. As far as that concerned, I'll make a commitment that I'll make sure that this stage was extremely respectful.
Yep.
So, if Allah had a son, you would worship him, correct?
If that conditional was satisfied, then yeah.
Okay. So, if Allah had a son, would you agree that son would be God?
Yeah, if it was an ontological son, then yeah, it would be. But just because I agree with the conditional doesn't mean that it now becomes possible, right?
Of course. I 100%. Okay, so you agree that if Allah had a son, according to Surah 4381, if the Most Merciful had a son, then you would also worship him like the Prophet.
Yeah.
And
But
then
that
Surah
doesn't mean
47 verse 19 says, so know well, O Prophet, that there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. So if God ontologically had a son, that son also would be Allah.
Yep, it would be God.
Thank you. Okay, perfect.
I don't see. Let me just clarify though.
Okay.
Because people often say, I had this discussion with this destroyer of Sunnis. He's a big low tier who didn't understand that just because the conditional is satisfied, that this now makes it possible.
Right.
Because if no one said we worship the Prophet, dude. Okay, in the comments. So if the conditional was satisfied, for example, Derron, if I told you if contradictions existed, reality would, not exist or something like that. Right. You would agree. Contradictions can exist. Right. There'd be no reality. That doesn't now mean that contradictions can exist.
Right.
Right?
Okay. I have no problem with that. So let me ask you this next question. If Allah willed to have a son, could he do it?
An ontological son? No.
So when it says, if Allah had willed to take a son, he could have chosen it. No, if Allah willed to take offspring, he could have chosen anyone he willed from what he creates. Exalted is he. He is Allah, the one, the subduer. What does that mean?
Yeah, so there's different interpretations of this verse. I'll just give you the one that speaks about it pertaining to sonship in like a metaphorical sense. Now, I don't know how you can make the argument that this refers to like an ontological sense because it says that he would choose from his creation. How would it be created if it's God?
Let me ask you, what does offspring mean?
Yeah, the offspring over here would just mean
does that mean
like a
does that
child
mean from,
be referring
right,
to the
does
son.
That mean from his essence? Or does that mean he would choose from his creation?
It says that he would choose from his creation.
Yeah, well, but I think we disagree on what he meant by choose from his creation, which we're going to get into that next. But I'm asking you, if it said, if Allah had willed to take offspring, he would choose from his creation. So how we interpret that verse is exactly what it says. If he chose to take offspring, then he would choose from his creation.
But how would you say from what he creates there? And would you say that this is a verse that agrees with the Trinitarian doctrine?
Well, no. Okay. See, I'm not bringing Christianity in this. This is
I'm not trying to critique you. I'm not going to say I'm not going to try to say, oh, there's a contradiction in your view or anything. Yeah. I'm just trying to say, are you using this verse to try and show that this is like the type of doctrine that you have?
No. So I'm not using.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not dragging my Trinitarian theology into these verses. I'm actually just reading them. And I'm interpreting them based on what it says. I assume offspring means a derivative from. So when it says that if Allah willed to take up offspring, that means a derivative of who he is or from him, then he would choose from his creation in means of who he would choose to do it.
Yeah, so over there.
For example, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I said earlier, there's two different views amongst the Mufassirin. Some of them say that this refers to like a metaphorical type of son, and there's scholars that don't have an issue with this. And then some will say that this is like some hypothetical impossibility type of thing. But whichever one you take, Derron, you can't say that this shows that it's derivative of his essence, because if you want to say that this son would be God, well, it says that it's from his creation. How is it going to be created and it would be God?
So let me ask you a question. It says, what's the verse? Because I don't have it here. I should have put it in here. What is the verse, Sid? And I'm pretty sure you know the verse where it talks about if Allah, it is impossible for Allah because he doesn't have what? What is the verse where he doesn't have not a partner, but a mate?
A mate. That just shows, I don't remember which one, but that just shows the absurdity. He's refuting the absurdity of those who believe that he does have ontological sons. And he's trying to show that, I mean, obviously the way that people think is that in order to have sons, and this is intuitive for us, in order for someone to have a son, because no one's going to understand this philosophical stuff. Oh yeah, there's a father and then he eternally begets the son. You don't even know what begetting means, Derron. So it's resonating with the people. It's intuitive to understand that to have a son, you have to have a mate, right?
Well, begetting means to be brought forth of one's own essence. It means to be birthed.
That's
literally
debatable.
means to be birthed, to beget.
Well,
that's why
the problem when you say to be brought forth, it sounds like something didn't exist and then it did exist.
Well, no, it was brought forth from one's essence. Meaning, for example, a cow begets cows, a pig begets pigs, a giraffe begets other giraffes. You cannot beget.
I agree.
Wait. You cannot beget what you are not. Meaning, you cannot beget something that you are not yourself. Does that make sense?
No, I get it, but
Derron, God beget the Son of God, and this is traveling off into Trinitarian theology. When we say God beget a son, meaning he only beget what he was. That's why in 1 Timothy 3:16 that God was manifested in the flesh, justified by the Spirit, seen among the angels, preached among the Gentiles. So you beget what you actually are. So in our paradigm, we believe the Son was beget according to Trinitarian theology, which means he had to be God if he was beget from God. Does that make sense?
Well, the problem with I disagree with the examples that you use, because all the examples that you used has to do with things that are done temporally. The cow beget, the other one, but that one didn't previously exist. So that's why when I'm asking you, what does it mean to beget? It seems like all the examples that you can give without it being unintelligible just means that the son was created.
Wait, so let me ask you a question. So you believe that something that is beget doesn't have to have, it has to have an ontological beginning, meaning as a spirit, it had to have been created right then and there.
If it's begotten, yeah. If you say to be brought forth, this is a temporal, this is something that is done in time. To be brought forth.
Wait. If when I conceive a child, when I give a woman my sperm, and she conceives, when was the sperm? When was it created? When it went into her womb, or did it come from me?
I mean, it can come from you, but that's still temporally done.
Jesus came from the Father. He said, "I came forth from the Father."
Yeah, but that seed wasn't always. Oh my God, we don't have to talk about this stuff. You could have given a different example, man. What are you doing?
Well, no, he says,
"This is not Derron. This is not TikTok friendly, man."
Jesus, no, listen, Umar. Jesus, in John chapter 6:38, I have what come down from heaven. Not to
but you're quoting verses now. I'm talking about the what it means to be begotten. Because when you say begotten means to come forth. When you say to come forth, for example, Derron, if I say to exist, that something came into existence, or to be created, would you say to be created is something that it would mean that it didn't always exist and then it did exist?
No, to come forth doesn't mean to be created. If something comes forth from my garage, that means it was already existing in my garage. It came forth from my garage. Now, to say that it was created after it came forth, that's a whole nother topic.
But that was done in time, right?
If I'm in the house, for example, when Lazarus was in the cave, and Jesus said, "Come forth," and he came out of that cave, did he exist prior to going in that cave?
Yeah, but that was done in time, right?
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. To be brought forth doesn't mean to be created.
So would you say that it was done in time?
Yes. What do you mean? When he was beget?
When God begets, when Jesus is begotten.
Well, there's two. He has a physical begetting and an eternal begetting that he always was begetted. He was always from the Father.
Okay,
right?
so that beginning is what I'm trying to get to. The always being begotten from the Father. Is that done in time?
Eternally begotten. No.
Is he being begotten right now?
He is eternally beget from the Father.
Does that include right now?
He was always with the Father. There was never a time where Jesus wasn't the Son.
How about right now?
That's why we
Darren?
say God does not change, because the Father
Uh-huh.
does not change. Meaning he always has been and always will be a father.
Okay.
And in order to be an eternal father, he has to have an eternal son.
Okay, so let's just count. 1, 2,
Meaning he
3.
never became a father. He always
Hold
was.
on. Let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is he still being begotten?
My guy. He's eternally begotten.
Does that include right
Hey,
now?
no. See, the thing is, you're saying being. When you live outside of time and space, like God does. Wait, listen.
Come on, Derron.
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm going to help you real quick. When you live outside of the realm of time, there is no time. It is.
Okay,
Does that make sense? So
from-
anything outside of time and space just is. That's what eternity is. It's time with no measure, meaning there is no end and no beginning. It just is. Does that make sense?
So I guess what does it mean to be outside of?
Does that make sense?
Because when you're
or
saying
not? I
time,
don't want to repeat myself. Does that make sense?
It doesn't.
Anything that's
make
not
sense.
in, that's why it says, listen, Umar, that's why it says, in the fullness of time, God did what? Sent forth his son, born where? Of woman, born where? Under the law. To redeem those who were under the law. So there was a time on earth that was necessary when God sent his son into the world. That means he sent his son into the realm of time. When he took on flesh, that's when the son became limited to time and space. But inside, the essence was still God.
I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense, Darren. Because if you're going to say God is outside of time and so on and so forth, when I say now refers to the present. When I say is he being begotten right now, presently, you could say he's always going to be begotten from, no beginning, no end, and that's still going to be the present because the present is the only thing that exists. But now the question becomes, if you're going to say that it's not done in time and all of that, and it just is, then the question becomes about, obviously you think that God does believe things, right? Like God, he's a personal being and he doesn't believe false things. Now the question becomes, does God believe that Derron is dead right now?
No.
Okay, so God will believe
Does
that
he know
Derron...
that I will die? Yes. And does he know when? Yes.
He knows when. Okay.
In the beginning and the end. I am the first and the last.
He knows when.
God's foreknowledge far
Foreknowledge.
surpasses beyond Dorsey's life on earth.
Yeah. But when you do pass away, then he would then believe that you are dead, right?
Okay, can we get back to the dude? We're just running. This
Hey, Derron. So hold on. Let's just.
I got through one question, and we're already off in.
Okay, let's just get there because I want to be ambiguous. You said outside of time.
Now we way off in la la land.
Because you said outside of time and all of this, and I think that's just on unintelligibility. So God will then go from not believing that you're dead to believing that you're dead, and change is going to be defined as a transition from state of affairs. So it went from one state of affairs to another.
Yes.
So you would say that
he
God
went from being in eternity to in time. Meaning it was just a transition from when he was manifested in flesh.
Yeah. So real quick, Derron, you would then say that God would say that you are dead only after you die, and that would be in time?
Wait, what?
Would that be in time, or would that be eternally done?
What are you talking? Bro,
come on, Derron.
You are something else, dog.
Come on, Derron.
No, bro. I don't know what this is like. I'm trying to follow you, bro. But you said
okay. Let me make it easier for you.
Slow it down.
God will only. Okay, so Derron, God. Hold on, just a second. God would only believe that Derron is dead after Derron dies, right?
Wait, I would believe that I'm dead after Derron dies?
No, I said the God that you believe in will only believe that I'm dead, for example. God will only believe that I'm dead after I die.
Yes.
Okay. So would that belief be in time?
What do you mean? In reference to time, yes.
So God's not okay.
No, time is reference. So yes, when you die, God knows you died in time.
Oh, okay. So God,
even though He exists outside of time.
Okay. So God's not.
For example, it's like a tape player. God has seen the whole tape, but as He's watching it, He knows when you will die, even though He lives outside of time and space. He sees it.
Well, you would agree that there's a difference. So I'll use the tape example. There's a difference between God knows when you will die, versus God believing that you did die, right?
Yeah, no.
Is there a difference?
My guy. You see, this is what I don't want.
Come on, Derron.
What kind of questions are these, bro?
Come on, Derron. These are simple, man.
I'm gonna be honest, man. You asking some pretty interesting questions, bro.
It's interesting because I'm proving that your God is in time. I'm proving that your God's in time, man.
Even relevant to Tawhid. I don't even know how we got.
Dude, you literally brought the whole time.
No, you
time stuff.
Am I going crazy?
I asked you what was begotten, and then you started saying begotten to be brought forth and all this. Come on, man.
I think you guys moving slowly to Trinity, bro.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll let him escape.
Go back to Tawhid, bro.
I'll just make my last comment on this. Darren's God is in time. We just proved that. Okay, let's go.
Because
our God is not in
1 minute. We did agree.
Our God entered into creation, and actually that shows that He's God. His God's limited. His God can't do something. His God can't even enter into his own house He created. So he's like a builder. Watch this. He's like a builder that builds a house and says, I cannot go inside. Our God says, watch this.
You're speaking to the wrong guy. Hey, speaking Muslim, sit there.
Hey, that's my boy. Hey, speaking Muslim's my boy.
He said, yo.
I need to figure out. I'm in the wrong business, man.
We Muslims are just nice, bro. We Muslims are just nice, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're just nice, bro.
Hey, you guys just got it going.
Hey, that's some charity, man. That's some charity.
I'm in the wrong business, man.
So, Derron, just to get on the limited thing, you said God being you think that God being limited is a problem, right?
Well, no, I'm not saying that He's limited. I'm just saying your God is limited in some of the things that He can do. For example, it's not a contradiction for God to create earth and enter into His own creation. There is no contradiction there. I don't believe that.
It would be it wouldn't be possible.
Anything, right? Like God can't violate His word. He said, "I place my word above my name." Meaning there are things that I cannot do. Meaning I cannot violate what I have already said. For example, He said, "I am holy." Meaning God cannot do anything that is unholy. So God is only limited by His word.
Yep.
And what He has already said.
So you said that God doesn't have limitations. He can do everything, right?
I didn't say that. Listen to me carefully. God is limited by His word. Meaning God cannot violate what He already said. So for example, God says, "I am holy." Meaning God cannot.
No, we're not talking about what He said.
We're not unholy.
We're not talking about what He said. You said that God, if I believe that God cannot enter creation, this is a limitation, and something that's limited is not God, right?
100%.
Okay, a limitation is like a restriction on God, right? It's something that restricts. Okay, so would you believe that? Would you agree that even? Oh, hold on.
That's dope. That was dope. That was sick.
Barakallah fiik. So God cannot be limited. All right, perfect. So would you say that God could be?
Well, no, I didn't say God was not limited. I said He was. He's limited by His word.
Okay, so He can't go against Himself.
Yeah, He can't violate anything He has already said. So if there's anything in the scriptures that God says, He cannot violate because God is not a liar. Remember, the Bible says.
So it's something that He has to say. It's something that He has to say.
His word is above His name. He'll never violate His word.
So it's something that He has to say.
What do you mean?
If it's something that He didn't say, then you'd say that He could do it?
Well, God would never violate His word. That's my understanding. Is that God?
I'm saying that you don't have access to everything that God can do, but you can at least understand what God can't do based upon revelation and based upon like reasoning and so on and so forth. Like we would say God, He says that He's above the throne. He cannot enter creation and all this stuff, right? He cannot enter creation. He says that He's above the throne. The early generation of the Muslims, they believe that God cannot enter creation. He's above the throne and so on and so forth.
Right.
You believe that God can enter creation.
That would kind of negate what God has already said, because He said He was going to enter into creation in the Old Testament, even in the Old Revelation. He said, "Behold,
but that's just you. I mean, that just seems like a precept, because then you're trying to say like, okay, I have to affirm every aspect. But we're talking about not the text itself. We're talking about the coherency aspect, because you said that it'd be a problem if God has limitations. So you believe that God does have limitations. That's not a problem?
He limits Himself.
Okay, perfect. So you'd say that God...
You don't tell God what He can and cannot do. He tells you what He won't do.
So would you say that God is limited to being three persons?
What do you mean? Yeah, because that's how he defined himself. In Isaiah
Okay,
48:16, watch this. In Isaiah 48:16, what does he say? Do you know what he says? He says,
You,
come
you can just quote the verse.
and hear this. For I have not spoken in secret, even from the beginning. From the time that it was, I was there. And now the Lord God and his spirit have
Yeah,
sent me.
that's fine.
So
There.
we
I'm saying
believe that God is triune. Even in the Old Testament, he tells you, I was in the beginning. I'm the one that spoke. And the Father and the Spirit sent me.
this seems like a little bit.
So
you're not trying to, like,
we
preach too
accept
much.
God how he reveals himself. It's not that God probably could have did anything he wanted to do. But he chose to reveal himself as one God who's distinct in what? Three person.
Yep. Would you say that God revealed himself having like having hands?
What do you mean?
Hands. Does God have hands?
He said, I stretched out with my hand. I stretched out the heavens and the earth.
So God can grab his
So
he can
with
grab
my
his
right hand, I
creation.
stretched out the heaven.
So God can grab his creation physically, you would say?
He could do it. God could do what he wants. Wait, your God is the same. Your God has two
No,
right hands.
There. You're
Whoa.
misunderstanding me. You're
Does your God have
misunderstanding
two
me.
right hands or not?
Yep, I'll disambiguate. You're misunderstanding me.
So
I'm
your
not
God
bringing
has
this
two
as
right
an
hands
I'm
too,
not bringing
huh?
this as an argument. Can I speak?
Hey.
There,
Go
this
ahead.
is bad rhetoric. Yeah,
I got you.
I'm gonna explain. I'm not saying that this is a problem for God to like grab with his hands and so on and so forth. But Christians don't believe that God has literal hands. Your church fathers, if I quote you from all sides, if I quote you Justin Martyr, I'll quote you Saint Cyril of Alexandria, I can quote you Tertullian, I can quote you John of Chrysostom, I can quote you theologians like Thomas Aquinas, Peter Lombard, Boethius, Saint Anselm of Canterbury. I can quote you all of these guys, and they say God's not in time and space. God cannot touch his creation. God does not have real hands. Augustine, for example, what does he say? Whenever something anthropomorphic is in the Bible, Augustine says, whenever you see something anthropomorphic, we just have to say that it's a metaphor. So would you say that God has metaphorical hands?
No, I don't have to say nothing. All I do is have to believe that word. The Bible says Jesus
hey,
sits on the right hand side of power. Meaning, when Daniel saw God in the Old Testament, he said, I saw one like the Son of Man coming to the Ancient of Days.
And he was sitting on the throne, right?
Sitting on a throne, right?
All right. So you would say that God...
Burning flame, right? So he had the... Wait, what did he say?
No, I'm just saying, okay, so God does sit on the throne. Like, he does actually sit.
I believe he sits on a
Okay.
throne.
Hey, Derron, man. Hey, Derron, me and you, we are anthropomorphists together, man. I believe God sits on the throne. You believe God sits on the throne as
That's
a
what it
Christian?
says. What do you mean?
Derron, exactly. What do you
Says
mean?
he sits at the right-hand side of power.
Yeah, but Derron, you know
When
what?
we get to heaven, we're going to see the Ancient of Days, and we're going to see the Son of God sitting at the right-hand side of power.
Yeah, but Derron, your friends that you hang out with, they would say that this is a problem. Like J49er.
I
Hey,
haven't
everybody.
read too much church fathers, bro. I'd have to go back and do my research.
No, don't
to see
do
what
that
they
stuff.
felt was
Don't
metaphorical.
pollute your brain, Derron. Be just like me. Don't pollute your brain. Just affirm the text, man.
Bro, I lean it
that's
down, man. I lean it down.
Hey, Derron, I got mad respect for that. I'm gonna be honest. I got mad respect for that because you know what you're doing. You're saying, J49er, don't take philosophy as a god besides the Trinity. You have to respect the text, J49er, and stop saying that God can't have hands and God can't be above the throne and God can't sit on his throne. If he says that he sat on the throne, he sat on the throne, J49er.
Brother,
you shut up.
I don't know what what Jay's theological disposition when it comes to that. Man. I believe God is God. I believe that God can manifest himself however he want to manifest himself. Do I think that he can manifest himself how he wants to? Of course. Do I believe that he's created in the image and in the likeness of God? Yes. Do I believe that's why I have hands and eyes and a nose and a mouth? Am I created in the very image of my God? Yes, I do.
Hey, Derron, man. Hey, Derron, you are.
Watch this. How God decides to operate, that's up to him. If God wants to be anything other than what I physically look like, that's on him. God has manifested himself in many ways to many different people throughout the scriptures. But when it says that God sits on a throne, I'm expecting when I get to heaven to see God sitting on a throne, and I'm standing before the judgment seat of God.
Hey man, you know what, Derron? I actually respect that a lot. You actually, because what you're doing what we say. We say, look, we take the text, we take what God said, And we don't worship philosophy like people like J49er and all
Well,
these
let me
other
ask
guys,
you a question,
Q-Top
though.
and so on and so forth.
Wait,
you know?
no, you throwing out names now. Watch this. So you actually believe that God has two right hands and a shin?
Well, if you mean by two right hands, the hadith says that both his hands are right. And what the scholars say about that, because if you look at, it's chapter 39, verse 67. There's a narration by where Tabari brings, and he says that Ibn Abbas says that he has a right and a left. So
Wait,
we
so
say
does
he has a right
two
and a
right
left.
hands, or does he have a left hand and two right hands? What is it?
No, he has a left hand and a right hand because the hadith
So there's
says both
not
his
two
hands
right
are.
hands?
No, let me explain. The hadith says that both his hands are right, and we're not just being literalist, right? My position is not to be a literalist. I'm a contextualist. So if it says that he has two right hands, or it doesn't say that, it says both his hands are right, then what I do is I contextualize it, and when I see and I understand based upon the context and based upon what the scholars have said, the early scholars.
What have the scholars said? What have the scholars
Yeah.
said?
So what it means over there is not two right hands as in directional. It's two hands. Both his hands are right in the sense that they're both of them are not deficient. They're both perfect. They're both blessed. That's the sense that we take it. Because look, when you say that in the Bible,
No,
that,
but then
I mean,
you
when
don't agree. You don't agree with what it says. Then you can contextualize
No,
it.
no,
how you want.
I agree with it. It says both his hands are right. Does it say both his? But does it
Wait,
say
so
that he
does
has
it say
two right
two
hands?
right hands, or both of his hands are right?
Both of his hands are right. That's what it says. Yep. So we
Interesting.
contextualize it. We look. So what I do, my hermeneutical principles, what I do is I look at the context of it. I look at the language. So I take the language into account. For example, in the Bible, hand, and even in the Quran, hand, we could say hand could mean power, right? But then in certain verses in the context, you're not saying, oh, wow, it must automatically mean power. No, you're going to see certain contexts where they're real hands. And the book that I showed you earlier, Darimi, he says that in the Arabic language, even if we conceded that this verse says that it's a metaphor, that it would still be real hands, because that's just how the language works.
Okay,
But,
so you do believe he has real hands, correct?
yeah, just like you.
And he has a form, correct?
Just like
Now,
you.
there are some hadiths that actually tell us what his form looks like. With a beardless man with curly hair. Do you believe that?
Yeah, so that's not external to the mind. That's actually internal to the mind. That's a dream.
So that was a dream. So when Allah appeared to someone as a boy, beardless boy with curly, that was somebody's conceptualization of what Allah should look like?
Yeah, that was the Prophet having a dream. Ibn Taymiyyah, the same person. I remember I saw Rob and people like Silv, who neither of them would ever formally discuss
So let me
on
ask
this
you a
topic
question.
specifically.
So does Allah
Let
appear
me just
to
finish real quick.
someone?
Let
Okay,
me just finish real quick, Darren.
Yeah, go ahead.
Neither of these guys that bring these arguments would ever formally discuss on this topic because they'd get smashed. Why? Because the same Ibn Taymiyyah that they quote from this book here, I'll show you. I believe it's this volume here, volume 7, if I'm not mistaken, like page 380, 390, somewhere around over there. And this same book here, he himself says that it's a dream. And he brings evidence that it's a dream, and it was in Medina. And there's two different occasions in which this was done. There's one in Mi'raj, where he says that all he saw was light, and that's not referring to God. And then there's one that's pertaining to Medina, and that was a vision. Now, what the same individual says, Ibn
But he
Taymiyyah,
never saw Allah.
in the dream he saw him.
He saw him in a dream. Same thing for
Yeah.
the Prophet Muhammad, right? Prophet
Although Darren, because I know there's other Muslims, I'm sure people are aware, there is a difference of opinion whether he saw him in Mi'raj or not. But those who say that he did,
Aisha said anybody who says he saw him is a liar, correct?
yep, there was a dispute between that and all of this. But the thing is, Darren, what the people are trying to do with this hadith specifically is say the one that they saw in Mi'raj is the same one as the young man. But they're taking that hadith and they're applying it onto the night journey, and that's false. And I'll tell you why. Because if we go to the same book, okay, and if we go to the same book, you'll see him refute this. But here's a more simple one. This is called Jam' al-Masail, okay, by Ibn Taymiyyah. So I'll just open up.
So we agree that the Prophet Muhammad never seen Allah.
Some people say that he saw him in Mi'raj, but that's not referring to the young man one.
Well, what do you believe? Do you believe that he saw him in Mirage? Or do
I
you
believe I'll show you. So I take this opinion here. So the same Ibn Taymiyyah, because I know Rob and Silv, they love to bring this argument, and they'd never man up. Both of you, I know you're watching, you'll never man up and discuss this with me. So what he says, والمنقول في رؤية العين في الدنيا عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كله كذب. He says, seeing of the eye in this world from the Prophet is all lies. He says, it's fabricated. موضوع باتفاق أهل العلم. He says, this is lied upon. This is agreed upon the people of knowledge. And then he says, even Ahmad, so Imam Ahmad that they love to bring, he says that he did not even say that he saw him with his eyes. He saw one time that he saw him, and another time he saw him before Adi. And he says, وأنكر على من أنكر مطلق الرؤية وذكر أنه يتبع ما نقل في ذلك من الآثار. So he just followed what was narrated from the narrations. Okay? So we don't take this. Yeah, no, Derron, don't get me wrong. There were people who claimed that he did see him. There was a misunderstanding. And Ibn Taymiyyah talks about this, that whoever says that he saw him has lied.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, it wouldn't be true if he saw him, yeah.
All right, so we agree that he never saw Allah.
And the night journey, yeah, and the dunya, yeah.
Okay, no, he never saw Allah, period.
No, it doesn't say period. It's talking about the night
So
journey.
he saw Allah at another time?
Yeah, in the vision, yeah, and then the dream.
Where? In a dream, right? Is a dream seeing Allah or not?
It's seeing Allah, but it's not seeing him external to the mind.
So you're saying that he saw Allah in the form of a little boy, beardless man with curly hair, but it wasn't really Allah, but it was
It's
Allah.
not him external to the mind. Let me ask you this, Derron.
So let me ask you, wait, but I'm not done. So if he would have saw Allah as a woman with curly hair and high heels on, would that still be Allah?
What you're saying, if he saw him like that, that's not a possibility because Allah only comes in ways that are perfection.
Wait. So now Allah can be whatever you want him to be, and he can't be whatever he wants to be?
No, you're asserting that God could appear that way. I'm saying that's a metaphysical impossibility. Let me flip it on. I'll tell you why.
It's not a metaphysical
I want
for
to
him
be
to appear
consistent.
as a young beardless man with curly hair, but it isn't a metaphysical impossibility.
Nope. And I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to show everybody the inconsistency over here. Derron, if God willed to come and get crucified as a cow on a cross, could he do that?
No,
Oh, why not?
because we're not made in the image of a cow. We're made in the image of God.
Oh, okay. So just
A
because.
cow's not made in the image of God. We are.
Oh, okay. So
God became like us.
where
so
in the
that
Bible does it say that he has to be made in the image in order to come and die for your sins?
What it literally made a promise in Genesis 3 that through the woman's seed.
No, that it has to be made in the image.
Right when Adam sinned, he made a promise in Genesis 3.
Yeah, but that's
that
this
through the
this
woman's
world.
seed. So he already
But Darren,
said that
that's
he was
this world.
coming as a man.
But you're straw man
Okay,
because that's this
that
world.
argument's put to bed. Next
Yeah,
one.
but that's a straw man because that's referring to this world. This world, he promised that. Could
Yeah.
God have promised in another world that he would come get crucified
There
as
is
a
no
cow?
other world but this one.
Wait, so God doesn't have free will?
Umar, there's no other world but this one.
Could God
We
have
live
created a
in
different world?
this reality. In the moment Adam sinned, he
So,
said,
Dan,
"Through the woman's
respectfully,
seed,
you're
there's
just-
going to
you're
come
just-
one who would crush the authority of the serpent, and the serpent would bruise his heel."
Dan,
That was the
respectfully-
very first messianic promise of Jesus.
Okay,
so
so
here's what I need you to do,
So hold on, Darren. Respectfully, you're just copying what Q-Top says.
Umar.
So would you say that you're necessary, Darren?
Chad, you know what time it is.
Hey, Darren, right now, Darren, right now, this about to get you in the body bag. I'm
I
telling
love this
you.
dude. Hey,
Hey, right now,
Love you,
I'm not gonna lie. The Christians about to disagree with you. Would
that's
you
a
say,
body bag,
Darren?
man. That's a body bag for real.
Would you say, Darren? What does it mean for something to be necessary?
This brother's
in your
allowing
view,
me to
Darren?
preach the gospel on a Muslim platform. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad you admit it's for
He's
speaking, man.
asking me messianic questions.
Would you say that you're necessary, Darren?
What do you mean?
That you have to exist in all possible
No.
worlds?
I don't
Okay.
have to exist. God allowed me to exist.
Okay, so but you said that there is that this world is the only world.
Yeah, it's the only world he's created that we know of, unless you know another one.
But could it have been different?
It could have been, but it's not.
Okay, so in that world where it could have been different, could
That's a
God?
hypothetical. That's just like me telling you if Allah had a son, and you said, "Oh,
No,
well,
no, no.
it's an
no,
impossibility."
It's not the same thing. That's okay. If it's
It
a
is.
hypothetical, if it's I'll tell you why it's not. If it's a hypothetical impossibility, then that means that it cannot be possible, and that this is the only world, and then you are necessary. Hey, come on, man. Darren,
Listen.
I'm
You
telling you,
said it
Darren.
different.
You
No,
put yourself in these
different.
shoes.
If is conditional. It's hypothetical, correct?
Yes, but not every.
Meaning there
not,
could be. If means there could be another world if He did it. So even if when Allah says, if Allah will to take a son,
No, that's not the same. I already clarified that a hypothetical impossibility is saying that it's not metaphysically possible. You said that it is metaphysically possible for God. Okay, for example, Derron, could God just not create at all?
If he wanted to, he could do it.
Okay.
God can do whatever he wants, but he did it. He said, the moment he said, let there be, it was done.
Okay, so then it's this.
The
So
moment
there are
God
possible
spoke and
worlds.
let there be, it was over.
Okay, so then there are possible worlds, Darren. That's the point. But let me get back to the whole.
No, there's no possible worlds. There's only the worlds that God created.
Whatever. You look. This is confused. I don't think that you know like possible world semantics. I don't blame you.
No, I don't.
That's
get
not a problem. It's okay. It's okay. But Ibn Taymiyyah, by the way, he says that no one is allowed to believe that this is the way that God is outside of the vision. It's just a vision. It's not him external to the mind and so on and so forth. People can see God in their dreams. We don't have a problem with that. And I'm glad you asked me that, Darren, because I want you to get a perspective of what the early Muslims believe and what our position is in general. And for any of the Ash'aris crying in the comments, and Nawawi says that God can come to you in a dream and appear to you as a man. So how about you cry more? Stay mad. So yeah, look, if you want, I can send you some work on like how he responds to this specific objection. It's something that's old. It's something that some of the so-called Muslim scholars did try to criticize us on, and even the Jahmiyyah, like I mentioned to earlier, even these same guys brought this argument particularly. So yeah, I mean, we dealt with the whole parts thing. We dealt with the change. It looks like Tawhid is coherent, everybody. We didn't see any contradiction. Like we can give to the Trinity. Huh? Oh yeah, we dealt with the sun thing.
No, we didn't.
We dealt with all of that, man.
I just started, and you took us off into something else.
We dealt with all of that.
No, I have like 5 questions.
I differentiated between the ontological sonship and the metaphorical type of sonship. I gave you both positions of the Muslim scholars. Like what we're seeing, everybody.
Let's do this.
Hold on,
let me ask you just the last question. Now, let's just forget it because time is short, and I think we got to go now. But let's do this. Let me ask you one more question, and I want you to answer directly. It's possible. Give me a yes, a no, and then explain.
If it's strict dichotomy, I will.
Watch this. Umar, did Allah get Mary pregnant? Yes or no?
If you mean by he put her spirit,
why see
spirit
again?
into her.
No, I asked you. Yes. Explain.
No, that's a loaded question. It's a loaded question.
Listen,
that's a loaded question. No.
Yes or no?
I told you I'll answer yes or no if it's not a loaded question. If it's not something that's a strict dichotomy.
Okay,
I want to disambiguate. What do you mean by
pregnant?
What do you mean by get her pregnant?
Was Allah the source of her pregnancy?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Did he breathe into her womb?
He himself?
Yes.
Directly?
Yes. No, I didn't say directly.
No.
I said did Allah's breath hit her womb?
No, his breath. He doesn't have. What do you mean breath? He doesn't have breath.
You sure?
Yeah, we don't.
So Allah didn't breathe into the womb of Mary?
We don't say that God breathes. It says that we did it, and that we is referring to Jibril.
Can you read?
That's referring to Jibril.
No, it says we breathed into her womb.
Yeah, and not every time. If Darren, if you actually read what the scholarship has said, the we over here is referring to Jibril, because Allah sent him, and in that sense, He primarily sent him, and Jibril is this one who is the one who breathed into her womb, and that's a secondary sense. So we believe in secondary causation.
Right, but who's the source of that breath?
Jibril's the one that breathed.
Okay, can you read Surah chapter 66, verse 12 for us?
I know it says we breathed into her.
What does
I know
it say?
that. It says we, and I told you what that means.
Who's the we? Wait, who's the we?
I told you the we refers to both, because Allah is the one who primarily sent him, and Jibril is the one that did it secondary.
Now, Gabriel is one with Allah?
How does that follow?
You just said we means God and the angel Jibril breathed into
Yeah, but that's a secondary sense.
You literally just said Gabriel is one with Allah.
I never said that.
Chat, am I wrong?
This is just a straw man.
Look, no, there's no straw man.
Darren, let me show you how you're straw manning.
Watch this. I'm going to read it. You tell me if you disagree with Allah. Watch this. It says, there is an example of Mary, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her chastity. So we breathed into her womb. Who's that?
Yep, Jibril is the one that did the breathing, and Allah sent him.
So now Allah and Gabriel are together in the breathing.
How does it follow that they become partners?
God, Allah, breathed through the angel Gabriel. That's what it says. It says we, Allah,
He sent him, and Jibril is the one that put it in the womb.
Gabriel, listen, is a mediator.
That's
It's
just
like a straw.
yeah,
Watch this.
but
Let
Darren,
me
you're
explain
straw manning
it.
my position.
Umar, let me explain it. Allah breathed through
Do you think that I'm saying that
Gabriel.
Jibril?
Gabriel is
Okay,
the person,
Darren,
is the one whom
Darren,
that breath came
Darren,
through.
let me disambiguate. Are you saying that Jibril is the one that created?
No, that's what you said.
That's not what I said. I didn't say that he created. I said that he's the one that
Breath.
put in her womb.
Whose breath was it?
Yeah, and I'm telling you that he put it in her womb.
Umar?
That's not creating.
Whose breath?
Yeah,
Went into
Jibril's
the
the
womb.
one. Jibril's the one.
He's called,
that
okay, let
did
me
it
help
directly.
you, Umar.
Jibril's
Isa
the
is
one that
called
did it.
a word and a
Jibril's the one that did it
spirit from
directly.
Allah.
Can you let me explain? Jibril's the one that did it directly, Darren. Now I want to show you how you conflated the two. Is there a difference between causing and creating?
Why does he always have to go philosophical?
Because you're bringing philosophical arguments. Darren, respectfully,
I'm bringing you a
Darren,
scriptorial argument.
But
This is
Darren,
scripture.
but Darren,
All I
respectfully,
did- no, no, Umar.
but Darren,
All I did
respectfully,
was take you to
yeah,
scripture.
but Darren, respectfully, you're bringing arguments that do get into that realm of philosophy, and I'll tell you why it does. Because the same book that I have that addresses this garbage argument is a book that talks about cause and effect. This gets into a philosophical argument eventually, because then the question becomes: you're trying to argue that Jibril is the one that created it, correct?
I didn't know. That's you're saying. I say Allah. I say Allah is the source of that breath.
Yes, Allah is the
Breathed
primary
through
source.
the angel Gabriel into the womb of the woman.
Okay, he's the primary source, and Jibril's
Thank
the one
you.
that did it directly.
Okay, so we agreed the breath actually came from Allah.
I told you that the direct source was Jibril, and Allah is the one that did the creation.
Okay, so Allah's the one that breathed. And
If you're just saying as in creating, Allah
into her
created.
womb.
If you're saying by create, Allah created, created it, and Jibril's the one that did the secondary
Right.
cause.
So he was the mediation, right?
Just like us, we can cause
Allah
things and we
breathed.
can
The
create
breath went
things.
through Gabriel.
I don't believe
Correct.
that God literally breathes. You think
It
that God
literally says
breathes?
but see, then again, you're
And we
disagreeing with your own
and like I
wrong.
said, we apply hermeneutical principles. We don't say that God literally breathes. I say that the Spirit is a creation of God, and Jibril is the one who is the efficient cause, who's the one that brought it to Mary. That doesn't mean that Jibril automatically created it. That doesn't follow. For example, Darren, what is the source of your power?
Bro,
Can you answer the question?
Allah breathed.
Okay, you can.
That's what it says.
Darren, you can
I
go
don't
into
have to
bot.
accept anything that contradicts this Quran.
Darren, you can go into bot mode. I'm asking you, what is the source of your power?
Umar, don't, dude. Don't
Come on, man.
I'm being
Darren.
as respectful as I possibly know how.
Okay, but I want you to answer the question, dude. Like I'm answering questions.
Okay,
What is
answer
the source of your power?
What? Okay.
What is the source of your power?
The source of my power is God.
Oh, okay.
The Bible says without him, I can do nothing.
Oh, okay. So when you create something, are you a partner? Or when you cause, for example, a bottle of water to fall, are you one with God?
Without God, I can do nothing. God is the source of all my power.
Oh, okay. So without God, Jibril could do nothing, and he could not have done that
Correct.
to begin with. And God's the one that
Right.
directly.
Therefore,
and
Allah
God is the
was
one.
the actual
And
source.
God is the one that directly created it. Thank you.
No, but you're contradicting what the Quran says. You actually disagree with Allah.
No, I don't. I told you that you
I just
are
read to you. It
applying your own
says, there
hermeneutics.
is watch this, Umar.
I already told
Answer
you what the
directly.
we means,
Watch this.
dude.
There is an example
Darren.
of Mary, the daughter of Imran, who
Darren,
guarded
I already
her
told you what
chastity.
the we
So
means,
breathe.
dude.
We
Darren,
breathe.
I
You
already
said
told you.
you said it's the
I already
angel
told you
Gabriel.
what. I already told you how the we, how that is meant over there. God is the one that created it primarily, and Jibril's the one that caused
No, I
it
didn't
by
ask you. I said
breathing
who
into
breathed.
it.
Who breathed?
And I asked you what you mean by that. If you mean by
So you
creating,
agreed that
it's
when
God.
Isa breathed it life into that bird, where did that breath come from?
When he breathed it, that's his own breath.
Okay, so he has the ability to create life. So you said
Ex materia, yeah.
Breathing. Oh wait, no. He agrees that Jesus
He was given
is
the.
God.
Can
Because
I,
the only person that
let's see
creates
how that
life
follows.
is God.
Okay, watch this. You said the only person that creates life is God.
Is God.
Okay, so if somebody is dead and someone is, and then I bring that person back to life, would I be God?
That's not creating life.
Oh, okay.
That's
So what's creating?
resuscitating. That's resuscitating
Okay.
life.
But they were dead.
That's resuscitating life. That's not
But they were
creating
dead. But
life.
they were dead.
If I
But
take
they
a
were
clay
dead.
bird and I breathe life
But
into
they were
that bird
dead.
and that bird flies away, that's called creating life.
That's not an issue
If
because
that
that's ex materia.
bird unalives and it's laying on the ground,
Darren,
and I put my two
you gotta
fingers
get new
on
arguments,
its
man.
chest trying to get it to breathe again, and finally it breathes again. That's not me.
Darren, you got to get new
That's
arguments.
me resuscitating life that had already
All this stuff,
bird.
Darren, this is bad. All this stuff was addressed by all of our scholarship. Can I explain? Was that bird created ex nihilo, as in was it created out of nothing, or was it created out of a prior substance?
It was created out of clay.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't out of nothing.
Did that clay have life?
Can you answer my question? It wasn't out of nothing?
I did. Did that clay have life, Umar?
No, just like with Moses.
So did Jesus breathe life into that bird?
Just like when Moses threw the staff and it turned to a snake.
Umar, it's over. Listen to me, Umar.
Come on,
Umar,
Darren.
Umar.
You gotta get better
that was
arguments,
like
man.
God's hand. That was God's hand that did that.
Wait, who threw the
God
staff?
said, "I will perform signs and wonders."
Yeah, but who threw the staff? Oh, so Moses didn't have free will?
No, he was the mediation.
Oh, so God
He
controlled
said,
Moses?
"I will make you as." That means
Did Moses do it himself or did God do it?
Umar, that means he was going to be a representative of.
Oh, okay. So Moses didn't do it himself, right?
Umar, look at me.
So Moses didn't have free will?
You backed yourself into this.
Did
Did
Moses have free will?
I know, Umar. It's over.
Did Moses have free will?
Listen, I know you're in panic mode.
Come on, Darren. Did Moses
This
have free will?
conversation has just came to a close because he
Did
just
Moses have free will, Darren?
Is God.
Darren,
Even in the
did Moses
Quran,
do it out of his own power?
Let me ask you a question, Umar.
No, I want you to answer the question.
Other than God, let me ask you a question.
I want to ask you the
Other
question.
than God, is there
I don't want you to
anyone else
divert.
Bro,
I want you to answer the question.
Umar,
No, I want you to answer
is
the
there
question.
anything other than God that
Darren,
created-
it seems like you're running, Darren.
You ain't got to answer it, guys.
Did Moses do it himself?
You're not going to answer. No, God did it with Moses.
So Moses didn't do it himself.
No,
So he didn't do
who
his own
split the
act?
seed? God said, take your staff. That means God was involved. God, everything.
Okay, so God is the one that split
everything
the
Moses
seed.
did.
Moses
only
did
a
not
mediator.
partake in it, right?
He was only a
So
representative.
Moses did not partake in it?
My guy, you're not. I don't think you're listening.
Come on, Darren.
Listen, Umar,
Come on,
the actual
Darren.
source of power is God.
Come on, Darren. Did Moses
No.
partake in that?
Moses didn't do it himself. That's the
Okay,
point.
okay. So
You're not listening.
Moses was
Right.
like a puppet, right?
No, that's not. He wasn't no puppet.
Was
That's not-
Moses like a okay? So it's
making up
either
words
Moses.
now.
Okay, so it's either Moses was like
Umar,
a puppet or he had his
Umar,
own causal efficacy.
Umar, it's over.
Darren,
The conversation has been done.
You can say it's done. I just want you to answer
Listen,
this last
you're
question.
in the oven and it's over. You just
Can you
admitted.
answer this last
you just
question?
committed shirk.
Okay,
You just
what's-
said Jesus gave
Darren,
life.
what's shirk? Darren, what's shirk?
You just it's creating partners with God. It's making someone
And what
as
constitutes
God.
and what
You
constitutes
just
creating
made
partners with
Jesus
God?
on the same level as God.
You don't even know what shirk is. You're just giving me it's just associating
It's
partners
like
with God. And
blasphemy.
what? And what?
You just created a partner with God. Jesus.
Shirk in what?
Jesus is equal with God.
Dude, I believe that I can be a creator. That doesn't mean that I'm the creator. Are you okay?
Okay, let me ask you a question, Umar. Who gives life? God or man?
What do you mean who gives life? As in who's the one that has the source of giving life?
Hey, who gives
God,
life, Umar?
God is the one that is the source.
Okay.
But God can
Thank
give
you.
that ability
I
to someone
asked you,
else.
When Jesus breathed life into that bird, who was the source of life?
Primarily,
Who gave life to that bird?
it was Jesus.
That means he just said only God creates life.
That's a non sequitur.
Who gave
Can
life
I-
to the bird?
can I
Jesus or
answer?
God? He said
Can I-
Jesus.
can I
He
answer?
just called Jesus God.
Okay, can I answer? I
No,
said
no,
primarily.
everybody in the
Okay,
chat
I
type,
need to break
"Bag."
stuff down.
That's
I need to break
okay.
some down.
That's a bag and
Can
a
I-
half. It's
Can
over.
you not be disingenuous? Can I break it down?
Yeah, you can.
So in my
only
view,
because only because I love you, bro. You good
yeah,
people.
I love these arguments, Darren. So in my view,
bag.
primarily, God is the one that does that.
Okay.
He is the one that allows us, just like primarily, he is the one that allows me to have power. I'll give an analogy. For example, I can only do things, if it's not for God, I wouldn't be able to actually have power. I wouldn't be able to move around. If he could he could stop my will at any given moment, I can be paralyzed and I don't have that power. Meaning, I'm not sufficient in and of myself. Just like Jesus is not sufficient in and of himself to cause that effect. But what happens is God gives him that ability. Now, Darren, you said that God giving him.
I'm about to cook that. Watch this.
Okay, just wait. I'm gonna follow up with. I'm gonna give you a question after this. I'm gonna follow, and I want you to follow up. You're telling me that God giving him some of that power is associating partners, correct?
Well, I didn't ask you earlier if he gave him the power. I asked you where the power came from. You said it was Jesus.
And I told you primarily.
I said, who was the origin of that power?
Yeah,
God or
and-
Jesus?
And
You
Darren,
said it was not God.
yeah,
it was
but you're
Jesus.
not understanding, Darren. When I say that Jesus is the one that did it, he is the one who is the efficient cause. He is the one that isn't the remote cause. He's the one that does it directly. For example, If I push this, I have my AirPods here. If I just push it down, I am the direct cause. But God, in the chain of causes, he is the one who is the primary one.
Thank you. That goes back to my argument.
How does that help you?
Breath was it? Was it Allah or was it the angel Gabriel's breath?
And I already told you, if you mean by that, as in who created directly, God is the one that created the spirit.
Thank you. Okay. What are we talking about?
And he's the one that caused it.
You did all that running just to come back to my point.
But you're not understanding. But you're not understanding. Cause, Derron, let me speak. Cause and creation is not necessarily the same thing. I hope you know that. Because if you think that, then Gregory of Palamas then believes that God creates his own actions. That's stupid. So let me get back to the whole thing about the cause.
You're getting Sid
because
nervous.
You have a problem. Yeah, sure. You have a problem with God giving the ability to someone else. Why? Because that's something that's from his attribute, correct?
Explain. I'm waiting for you to finish. So
it's just yes. It's just yes or no.
I'm about to put all this.
It's just yes. It's just yes or no.
Go ahead, man. Finish.
It's just yes or no. It's just yes or no.
Answer the question. Ask the question again, man. I'm ready.
Okay.
To talk. I'm ready to
God
just
giving God giving the ability, meaning he gives you some power from his attributes, would be associating partners in your view, correct?
So did Allah give Jesus permission?
Dude, can you just answer the question,
bro? I'm gonna ask you a question.
Derron, I asked you a question, dude.
Dude, all of our ability, I believe, comes from God. Everything.
Oh, no, that's not what I asked. Would you say that it's associating partners if he gave you that power?
No. What associates partners with Allah is giving people the attributes of Allah.
Okay, and that would be like knowledge, power, so
creating life.
Okay, so would you say,
breathing
Derron,
life into something that is inanimate?
Derron, you gotta let me speak, dude.
Bro, you've been speaking the whole time. I haven't even had a chance to talk.
Okay, so I want you to engage with.
You're literally just asking questions.
You're just repeating yourself. Would you say that you have some of God's knowledge?
Do I have God's knowledge?
Some of
you
it?
can say that. I guess you can say that.
Oh, are you associating partners with God?
Do I have knowledge? Yes.
Did God give you some of his knowledge?
What, dude? I have knowledge. What is that? God is all-knowing.
Oh, okay. Okay, Derron. What's the source of that knowledge?
Bro, God is the source of all knowledge.
Oh, okay, Derron.
Ooh,
did he give? Oh, okay, Derron. Did he give you some of his knowledge?
Are you serious? Is this
a yes or no?
Is this what you're reverting
to? It's a yes or no, Derron. Did he give you some of his knowledge?
I have knowledge. It is what it is. I have
knowledge. That's not my question. If you have it, did he give you some of his knowledge?
You can say that, yes. So what?
Oh, okay. So did you associate partners with God?
God gave me life. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean I'm associating partners with God.
No, now, because you have his attribute, don't you? Does he have knowledge?
If I have the ability to create life, that's different.
No, I'm not talking about the ability to
okay. If I have the ability to create life,
I'm talking.
No, we're talking about essentials. God, no, because you're not going anywhere, bro. You're just repeating yourself now.
Man, this is bad.
This conversation is getting exhausting because you literally are running away from everything that I'm taking you to. Every question
I think you just can't track, Derron.
You ran from it. So
I think you just can't track.
On the last question, it's over.
I mean, you can say
right now. You're just trying to dig yourself. Umar, now you're trying to dig yourself out of it.
Can you answer the question?
This conversation has been done.
You can say it's done. Can you answer the question?
Okay. I'll answer your question if you can answer my question. Who gives life?
I already answered the question.
Who gives life?
I already answered the question.
Who gives life, Umar?
I told you that God
is anybody but God can give life.
But somebody else can give life by him allowing them to do so.
Can anybody create life? I'm not talking about giving life.
Watch this. Who gives existence, Derron?
God.
Oh, can you bake a pie and that pie didn't exist and then it did exist?
No, all the things that went into that pie previously existed.
But so the identity of that pie. No, watch, Derron. You just buried yourself. I'm going to tell you why.
He said, did
Derron,
that pie exist?
Before,
all the properties
but
that went into
Derron,
that pie
let me explain.
Derron, I made the pie.
Derron, don't run. Let me explain why.
No.
Derron, watch this.
This dude's cooked.
Watch this. Before you baked, Derron, don't run away. Okay, I got baked. Let's see if I got baked. Before you, Derron, don't panic, dude. Before you bake that pie. Okay, let's see about that. Engage. Before you bake that pie, the ingredients were all separated, correct?
Yes.
When the ingredients were separated, were they a pie, Derron?
No.
Oh, so it wasn't a pie, right?
All the properties that went into that pie previously existed.
But was it a pie?
I made it a pie.
Oh, so you brought a pie into existence? But you said God brings stuff into existence. Wow, Derron. Wow.
Are you kidding me, bro? This is the best you got.
Hey, GG's, man.
Watch this.
Hey,
We're gonna go back. Hey, watch this.
This is Dunzo, man.
Let's see if he answers.
No, it's done, bro.
He said,
that's a concession.
What did he bake?
I'll tell you why it's a bake.
He baked that pie that didn't exist.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
That didn't
Darren,
previously exist.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Darren, let me explain.
Bro. It's my turn. You asked the question. Now it's my turn.
Though. Let me just explain why.
Can we go back and forth, bro?
Yeah, I'll explain
why.
Me
a question.
Oh my god,
he got
bro.
absolutely demolished on his own question.
You don't even understand my point.
Backtrack. Now it's my turn.
Can I just explain my point?
No, answer my previous question.
But you didn't understand my point.
What's this? Did Allah get Mary pregnant? Yes or no?
You didn't understand my point.
I
already answered this question. I'm not going back and forth with this. I already answered this.
You didn't even answer that question. Did he get her pregnant?
Yes, I did. I said if you mean by getting her pregnant, if you mean by getting her pregnant, meaning he's the one that sent the spirit and Jibril put it in her, then yes.
When you
in that
question,
sense, yes.
I said no or yes.
I told you in that sense, yes.
Oh, yes. So yes, he got her pregnant, correct?
Yeah, I told you by him sending Jibril.
No, then he's the father, because fathers get women pregnant, correct?
Really?
Wait, do fathers get women pregnant?
That's a biological thing.
Umar, does fathers get women pregnant? Yes or no?
Yeah, biologically.
Did Mary have a biological son?
Yeah.
Was it a literal or metaphorical son?
She had a literal son.
No, that
doesn't mean that he's the biological father.
So he got her pregnant with a literal son, correct? So Allah is a literal father, correct?
No, that's not ontological.
So he got her pregnant, but he's not a father.
Oh, Darren, this is bad. This is just physical laws, man. This is biological. Now, can I get back to my previous point?
He's the source of her pregnancy.
Yeah, you can believe what you want, Darren. Can I get back to my previous point? How I did thank you?
Let's slow down. Because we're getting hot and heavy. And I knew this was gonna happen. I know,
Darren. Let's chill out. Let's go back to what I said earlier.
No, we're not going back to what you said.
No, because you ran away from that.
Continue my argument?
No, because you ran away from that. Respectfully, you ran away from that. I'm gonna represent my argument because
I didn't know you were the one asking the questions. I thought I was here to ask you about the concept of Tawhid.
Yeah, but I get to ask questions about how I'm giving my arguments. What the heck? You're telling me that I can't ask you. You're trying to ask me questions, and when I try to disambiguate, and when I try to ask you things to be consistent, you try to run away from it.
Okay, Omar. How about we do question to question now? Okay.
No, I'm fine. I just want him to engage because he said.
Okay, let's do question to question.
Because he said that I made Allah associate partners and whatever because Jesus had the ability to create. Now I asked Darren, everybody, who gives existence? Darren says God does. No, Darren says his God gives existence. And then I asked Darren, did the pie always exist? And then he tried to say, oh yeah, look, the ingredients existed before. But wait, Darren.
Pie always existed.
But wait, Darren. You thought that was bacon. Because if that's the case, you think that before the pie was baked, that it was still a pie. But it wasn't. The ingredients existence, the identity of the pie didn't always exist. And if you guys want to see how an atheist got baked on this specific argument, you can check out Jake the Muslim Metaphysician. He had a whole hold on, let me just finish.
Let him finish his point.
Jake had a whole discussion with an atheist on this about do things come into existence? And this idiot atheist said the pie didn't come into existence. And he tried to act like it was a pie before the fact. No, Darren, you said that God brings stuff into existence, but now you're in a predicament. It's either you brought the pie into existence and then you are God because that's what you agreed to, or God brought the pie into existence and you have no free will.
God done.
Now it's a free will. Now we're talking about free will.
Were you a puppet, Aaron?
You are fighting your hardest to come out of that bag, bro. Let me tell you something. All right, my turn, right? It's my turn, Omar? Can I speak?
Okay, Omar, just let
I'll be quiet. Wait. No, I'm going to be quiet until he's done.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go, bro.
Umar, you good?
He's good, yeah.
Okay, first of all, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. He's conflating Jesus breathing life that did not exist into that bird to create life. I asked him a question. Who creates life? He said God. And then I asked him, where did the life come from that went into that bird? God or Jesus? He said Jesus. So really he admitted that Jesus was God because Jesus breathed life. Jesus did it by the will of Allah. Do you guys know what that means? That means Allah didn't need to do it. Jesus just needed permission to do it. He did it by the will of Allah. Meaning he actually waited to see if it was Allah's will to allow that life that he already had in him to go into that bird. It didn't say Allah did it through the Prophet Isa to make that bird come alive. It doesn't say that. It says that Jesus, by the will of Allah, breathed life into that bird. That means the source of life is not only Allah, but Jesus as well. So thank you, Umar, for agreeing that Jesus is freaking God.
Spawn?
Am I trying to ask a question now?
No, I'm going to respond to that respectfully because you're trying to say, "Oh my God,
let him respond to that.
he's God." This is just all theatrics, everybody. This is what people like Derron do. They like to be theatrical. I get it. You saying that I agreed that he's God doesn't necessarily follow. I told you that he's not the primary cause. Him being the efficient cause doesn't mean that he's the one that had the ability in and of himself, that he is sufficient in and of himself. Now, I don't know why Derron's saying, answer my question when I brought him points that he did not address. Derron said, God is the one that brings things into existence. Now, then I asked Derron, did the pie, if you bake a pie, did that pie always exist? Did you bring that pie into existence, Derron? He said, "Oh, look, the ingredients existed before that." And I told him, and then he tried to like play some kind of like theatrical, rhetoric, all this garbage, and thinking that was a point. That wasn't a point because the ingredients existed. I'm talking about the identity of the pie itself. The pie did not always exist, and the pie was brought into existence by Derron. Now I want Derron to address. He did not. He kind of just pushed that aside. He tried to tuck it under the rug and say, "Oh, we're just going to let that sit there and not address it." No, Derron, you're going to address it. Were you the one that brought that pie into existence, or did God bring that pie into existence?
All right, I'll answer that. Let me answer that. Okay, let me help this poor guy out real quick. First of all, he doesn't even understand what the meaning of bringing something into existence means. When you make something, that doesn't mean you brought it into existence. That means you used what previously existed to make what you made. For example, the earth did not exist before God made it. We are made of what? Dust. The Bible says he formed us out of the dust of the earth when he made us. So we also are created beings, correct? But let me ask you a question. We didn't exist prior to creation. God used what was already created or that existed to create who we are. So I can create a pie, but that pie has to be made out of things that already exist. Meaning I am not bringing that pie into existence because everything in that pie already existed.
Okay, who brought the pie into existence?
Oh my, bro, can I finish? Can I land?
The identity of the pie. We're not talking about the
panicking because you're literally getting caught up in definition. The pie and everything that went into that pie already existed. To bring something into existence, meaning it never or any of its properties previously existed. It's like a magic trick. If I have something in my hand that doesn't exist, and I bring it out of nothing, now it exists. That's bringing something into existence. The life that was in that bird did not even exist.
Okay.
So he breathed life into that bird, meaning he made that bird alive.
This is bad. I'll tell you why.
That's God.
I'll tell you why. You tried to differentiate between ex nihilo and ex materia, that the prior substance, the prior material for the pie existed, which would mean that the pie did exist before you baked it. Derron, now the question becomes, Derron, you tried to say Derron, let me speak. Derron, you said bringing something into existence mean that it was brought out of nothing. It was once nothing, like in your hand.
Correct.
There was nothing there. Okay, that's ex nihilo. That's not ex materia. Because I'm going to show you now. By your logic, Derron, by your logic,
you can't
let me finish. Because you didn't have the pie fully on the table and its ingredients were on the table, the pie existed before it was baked, right?
It existed before it was compiled.
So the pie. So hold on. So the pie existed.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Existence. I want to get your understanding of existence. So you're saying when all the ingredients came together to create that pie. That's when that pie began to exist.
Yeah.
So okay, let me ask you a question. At what point in that process did the pie start to exist?
whatever essentially makes it a pie once it's complete.
So you're saying there's no point in time where that pie actually began to exist?
That's not what I said. I said yes, it exists once it's finished.
When?
Once it becomes a pie, whatever essentially makes a pie a pie.
It's not considered a pie when it's not put into the oven?
Was this a pie, Derron?
Okay. Again, you're not tracking. You're not tracking.
Derron, was this a pie?
That pie, listen.
The ingredients exist.
About bringing something into existence.
But
right?
the ingredients existed. The ingredients exist. Is this a pie?
Guys, I don't think he's tracking. I don't think
Derron, was this a pie?
All the pie is in those ingredients.
Hey, look at this Christian. He said, I can't LARP anymore. This is so bad.
Oh, okay. Leave that up. Hey, leave that up. Leave that up. Watch this, chat. Hey, chat.
Darren, answer the question. No, answer
watch
it.
This. Hey,
answer it.
Verify this, guys.
No, Darren, answer it.
Listen, if Allah is
Darren, don't run. Answer
when
it.
did he begin to exist?
Answer it. Darren, answer it.
Did Allah begin to exist?
Those are temporal notions. Those are temporal notions.
Together?
No, the pie and the pizza doesn't work. I'll tell you why.
Whoa.
The pizza analogy.
All those parts of that pie came
let me
together.
explain.
Is that when Allah began to exist?
It didn't come together because they always existed.
So
Think.
all those,
now,
okay,
now,
so you're saying
now,
that there are
now,
99 attributes that are distinct from Allah.
Don't run.
Wait,
don't run. You're not running. You're not running.
Distinction.
You're not running. You're not running, Darren. You're not running.
Watch this. I'm gonna let him go, and I'm gonna cook him on this. Watch.
Okay, sure. Is this a pie?
Dude, explain, bro.
I'm asking you. Is this a pie?
All the ingredients of that pie is on that table.
That's not what I asked. Is this a pie?
All the ingredients of that pie is on that table.
Is this a pie?
Bro.
I'm not asking about the ingredients. Would you call this? Are you looking at a pie? Are you looking at a pie?
No. All the ingredients that goes into that pie previously existed.
Oh, okay. So now after you bake it, the ingredients. Yes, the ingredients did.
Thank you. Okay.
Now watch this, Darren. After you put all these together and you bake it, it becomes a pie, right?
Yes.
So if you did this, Darren, and your kitchen.
So at what point does it become a pie?
Hold on. Once it's full, I don't know, when you put it together and you fully bake it. The heck? When you fully bake it, when you put it together, when you mix all the ingredients together.
Before it goes into the oven?
After you put all the stuff together, yeah.
You just said it was a pie after it comes out of the oven.
I said whatever it makes essentially a pie, then yeah. You're not tracking. Is this a pie?
No, you're not tracking.
No, okay, let's see who's not tracking. You said coming into existence means something was created out of nothing, correct?
Nothing.
Okay, so
That's
that would mean
it
means to be brought into existence, to come out of nothing. So stop with the nervous laughter. Let's get into this now. When you had all these ingredients on the table, was this a pie?
All the ingredients of that pie is on that table.
So the pie did exist.
All the ingredients of that pie is on the table.
Did the pie exist?
Nothing didn't exist. Nothing didn't exist prior.
Okay, did the pie exist?
In all those ingredients, yes.
No, I'm saying the pie, the identity. No, the identity of a pie.
Bro, can we switch it up to
I want you to eat your words.
Criteria to
I want you to we'll get there. I want you to eat your words.
Right after this, we're gonna apply that same criteria.
So we agree this is not a pie.
You're just refuting your own biblical ideology.
Is there a difference between this and this?
We're gonna use one is fully constructed and compiled, and one is not.
Okay. So this is not a pie.
One is broken down into its natural form ingredients.
Okay, so Darren, if you put all these together and you construct it into a pie, you brought
just
that
like
pie.
Allah, yes.
Oh, okay,
just like
Darren,
Allah.
We'll get there. Did you
just
bring
like
that?
Allah.
Darren, I want you to engage. Did you bring that pie into existence?
He's cooked.
Can you answer the question? Did you bring that pie?
All those parts come together, it makes up what we call a pie.
Okay, but you said that only God brings
those parts
things.
have to come together.
Oh my God,
to be a pie.
Darren, you
when
said
those parts don't come together,
Darren,
there's no pie.
You're backtracking.
When all those parts are not combined,
this is insufferable.
No, dude, I'm gonna show you. I want you to pay attention. This is
I want you to engage.
All those parts are distinct from each other.
Oh my God, and they're separate. These are all separate from each other. These are all things that are separate, dude. I'll get there. I'll get there. That's easy to refute. Now, Darren, you said you yourself said. Watch this, everybody. You yourself said that existence, bringing something into existence, mean it was nothing and then it was something. Is this nothing over here?
No, it's something.
Oh, okay, it's something. So
Yes.
that's number one.
Is it? Well, you answer.
It's
Is that
something.
something or is it
It's
nothing?
something. Yeah. Now watch
Okay,
this.
there we go.
Now watch.
Then it
Now watch
exists.
this. Now watch this. That means that God is the one that created all these raw materials, but you, Derron, took these raw materials and you made it a pie. Correct?
Well, not according to Allah. They're
No.
uncreated.
According to you, yes.
He's trapped.
Can you answer?
You don't even know he's trapped yet. Watch this.
Okay, I'm going to show you why Derron is being so evasive and he's not answering. Because
I
Derron
answered
is
you. You're asking the
you're
same
running.
question
No,
over
you're
and
running.
over.
No, you're running. I'm going to tell everybody because you want to be.
You're
Omar,
literally
wait,
asking
wait,
I'm
the
gonna
same
answer.
question
Omar, wait.
over and over.
Omar, wait.
All
I
the
want time
things
to speak.
necessary to make that pie
I want
is
time
on
to
that
speak.
table.
Okay, Omar,
You're coping.
let him answer it. Can you answer his question, Darren? Go
Yeah,
on.
my question is, Derron, did you bring the pie itself into existence, not the raw materials?
I made the pie. I didn't bring it into existence.
Did the pie always exist?
There's a difference between being made and it coming into existence.
That's not what I asked. Did the pie always exist?
I can make a pizza, but that doesn't mean the pizza didn't exist.
Wait, if the raw materials for the pizza. Hold on, let me
if I have the dough, if I have the dough,
Derron,
if I have the marinara,
Uh-huh.
I have the cheese.
Uh-huh.
Everything needed to make that pizza existed already.
Okay, so the pizza existed.
All the parts of that pizza existed. It was just compiled.
No,
Do you
the
know what it
pizza.
means to compile? That
The
just
pizza
means
itself.
to create.
No, the pizza itself.
Bro, that just means to create.
Derron, the pizza itself.
This guy, bro.
It's okay, man. You can't answer.
I think
But
we have
you
to move on from the
yeah, we have to move on.
Yeah,
But
Is it my turn?
let me tell him why
Is it my
his
turn?
analogy fails.
Is it my turn?
Give
Yeah,
him
you
time
can
now.
you can talk
Omar.
about
Yeah,
the whole Tawhid
okay.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
go
talk
ahead.
about the whole.
Let's talk
House thing.
about this pie. Can you put that back on the screen?
Are we not moving on from the pie
Oh
argument?
yeah, no. We're gonna
want
show
to
how
change it?
Allah. We're gonna show how Allah relates to this pie. So show the parts again. Show the parts. That's Allah.
parts. These are all separate parts.
That's His attributes, correct? Is that His attributes? Can we say that?
Nope.
That's Allah being all merciful, Allah being a creator, Allah being all these different things that make
Nope.
Allah.
You can
correct?
bring the pizza example, the
Let me
pie
ask you a
example.
question.
These are all.
Let me ask you a
These are
question.
all. Hold on.
Does
let me-
Allah exist without these parts?
Nope.
Are these parts uncreated?
Yep.
Are these parts Allah?
They're not identical to him. Nope.
Okay, so then there is no Allah. Allah doesn't exist. Because if
You're
Allah
just stating
can't
my
exist
position.
without these parts, but yet he needs these parts to exist.
There's no God without His attributes. Yeah.
Okay, well then there's no Allah. Because is Allah the
No,
creator
there
of His
is.
attributes?
There is
did
Allah.
Allah create His attributes?
No, He didn't create His attributes.
So Allah didn't create His attributes?
God
You're
creates His
laughing like
attributes.
you're not in a bag.
Does God create His attributes?
So if His attributes are uncreated, and Allah didn't create His attributes, who created Allah?
What do you mean? Who created Allah? He always existed, and He always will exist, and He always has His essential properties.
He existed distinct from His attributes?
If you mean distinct as in there's a difference between Him and His attributes, and each attribute is
His
different from each other.
attributes are uncreated.
Yeah, just like Gregory Powell.
So if his attributes, listen to me real quick. You're not listening. Umar, you're done. I don't know why you're laughing. That's a nervous laugh.
Yeah, you can say that there. This
Look
is
at me.
bad.
No. Look at me. Umar, you're done.
Uh-huh.
You just said Allah cannot exist without His attributes.
Yep, just like Powell
Allah
must believe.
is not His attributes. Allah existed alongside of His attributes because they're also uncreated.
Yeah,
I'm going to
they're
ask you
within
a
Him.
question, Umar.
Yep.
Is there anything other than Allah that's uncreated?
Dude, why are you asking this again? You already asked this. I told you
No.
His attributes. I told you He has multiple attributes that are uncreated.
That exists.
I said He has His
alongside
essence
Allah.
and His
So let me ask you a
attributes.
question. Last question. Why did you make me small screen? He talked for like 20 minutes. He literally talked for like 20 minutes.
Oh no.
Let me ask you a
Go ahead, man.
Do you believe? Watch this, guys. Watch this. He's cooked. Watch this. Do you believe, like Jake, that there are 99 ontologies?
What do you mean by ontologies?
Do you believe, like Jake said, that his attributes are 99 different ontologies?
Yeah, I'm asking you. How do you define ontology?
Are they ontologies? Do they exist apart from
How
Allah?
do you, Derron? You want to look, Derron? The problem that I have with you right now is you
Why
say
can't they answer the question? You
because
know what I mean.
oh my God, Derron.
Okay, what is an ontology? What is the state in which something exists? Correct.
And look, ontology
Is an
the study-
ontology the state
my
in which
God.
something
Can I
exists?
can I
Yes or no?
speak? Can I speak?
Well, you asked me a question.
Yeah,
Is
ontology.
an ontology the state in which something exists?
Ontology is the study of being and what exists.
Correct.
Properties exist. So if you say 99 ontologies, and by ontologies, you just mean that there are multiple properties that exist, that isn't a problem.
So you agree that there are 99 ontologies then, correct?
Dude, can you repeat what I said? Is this guy okay?
Hey, clip that, yo.
There can't.
Hey,
You
we
can't
got
be
another
serious,
99
Darren.
ontologies, guys. We got another 99.
Darren, you can't be serious.
This
Okay,
is crazy.
watch this.
Darren, let him explain
So
it again.
now
Watch this.
you have 99 uncreated ontologies that exist apart from Allah.
Make my screen bigger. Watch this.
Allah
everybody.
is not his ontology.
Uh-huh.
Allah is not his
Uh-huh.
attributes.
And is that
Allah
polytheistic?
is distinct from his attributes.
Okay,
And now
okay.
he even claimed
Uh-huh.
that those attributes
Uh-huh.
are their own personal ontologies in which something exists apart from Allah.
Okay,
That's
watch this.
99 gods.
Okay, watch this, Darren.
Body
Is
bag.
that poly? Is that
Everybody
poly?
type body bag in the
Oh my
freaking
God,
chat, man.
Darren!
It's game
Stop the
over.
theatrics, dude. Is that polytheism?
It's over.
Is that
I'm not saying
polytheistic?
nothing else.
Is that polytheistic? Oh, you are. Is
I'm
that
not saying
polytheistic?
nothing else.
You're gonna answer this. Is that polytheistic?
Sid, wrap it up.
Is that polytheistic?
Wrap him up.
Is that polytheistic?
No, he's gonna need to address you on
Darren,
that.
why don't you want to
Wrap
engage,
him
Darren?
up, Sid. It's
Darren,
over.
why don't you want to engage? Is that
Really,
polytheistic?
another
You know why,
99
Darren?
ontologies, guys.
Is that
That's what
polytheistic?
happened with Jake
That's a body
and
bag.
Nick. That's
Oh
what
my
happened
God!
with
Can
Jake
you
and
answer the
Nick.
question?
I don't
People
speak
took it
to
out
people
of
with a
context.
body bag, man. It's like
Darren, is that polytheistic?
I knew this was gonna happen, man.
Okay, so watch this. So watch this, everybody. He said he agreed by my definition. Ontology is this. Dude, can you stop interrupting me? This theatrics
All
is
right, my
horrible.
bad. Out of respect for Umar, yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, because I'm gonna make you eat your words like you did earlier. Okay, and you're gonna call Gregory Palamas a polytheist. right
Darren,
now.
hey, the game is over.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna listen.
okay, so watch this, everybody. Watch this.
I'm gonna come out the back.
He said he agreed, and by the way, I have plenty of Christians that agree that Nick was disingenuous with Jake on that. So ontology is the study of being and what exists. Properties exist, Darren, and actions are properties. And an uncreated action is a property. Multiple uncreated actions are multiple properties. Now watch this, Darren. But even if this man considers that everything that has a beginning is created, we for our part know that while all the energies of God are uncreated, not all are without beginning. So St. Gregory of Palamas believes that there are multiple uncreated properties, which are actions. These are energies that are uncreated. And we agreed that ontology means the study of being and what exists. And these uncreated actions do exist. So Darren, would you say that Gregory Palamas believes in multiple ontologies?
Bro, I'm not speaking. I'm letting you know.
Yo, Darren, does Gregory Palamas believe in multiple ontologies, Darren? Come on, man. Come on, Darren. Does Gregory Palamas believe in multiple ontologies?
He said, bum, 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 bum.
Come on, Darren. Does Gregory Palamas believe in multiple ontologies?
You cannot be in bot mode right now. This dude
Come on,
is in
Darren.
bot mode,
You're
bro.
the one on bot mode. You're not answering. Does Gregory
You said
Palamas...
nothing that baked me. Nothing.
Okay, can you answer the question
There's
then?
nothing that you
Okay.
said that baked me.
Then can you
at
answer the
all.
question? Then can you answer the
No,
question?
you're baked, bro.
Oh,
This
so you don't
game
want to
is
answer the
over.
question. So you don't want to answer the
literally
question.
conceded that there were 99 on
So you don't want to answer the
ontologies.
question. So you don't want to answer the question. Okay, so you don't want to answer the question.
No, I'm gonna let you. Hey, I'm gonna let you climb out of the bag. It's over. The game is done.
Okay, so Darren, can you answer?
You just
Does
conceded that
does
Tawhid
Gregory
doesn't
of
exist.
Palamas?
If
does-
there are
you
99
can say it's a-
ontologies,
Darren,
that
you can say it's a
exist
concession.
outside of Allah,
Darren, you can
then
say it's a
that
concession.
Tawhid is
I never
destroyed.
said it's outside of
Because
God.
there cannot be
I never
anything
said
that
it's outside of
exists
God. I
distinct
never said it's
from
outside of
Allah,
God. You're
outside
bait.
of Allah
You just
as its
lost.
own
How's it
state of
gonna lose?
existence.
I never said once it's
Tawhid
outside
is
of God.
destroyed.
You just lost. I
You
never said it's
literally
outside
just
of
cooked
God.
all of Islam in
I
front of
never
600
said it's outside of God. You're strawmanning me.
You
which is
literally
dishonest.
just cooked.
Okay,
You literally
we
just
can see
cooked
about that.
Tawhid
If you want
in
to
front
say
of
that I cooked
600
Tawhid,
people.
how about you engage
You
with what I asked you?
agreed with Jake.
How about you engage with what I asked you, Darren?
It's over.
Okay, can you answer my question?
Hey, let's wrap it up, Sid.
Okay, so Darren, when you said answer the question, and I didn't say, okay, when you said answer the question, I could have said it's over when I said it's over earlier when I baked you, but then I continued.
What did you bake
But then
me
I
on?
continued
What did you bake
on
me
the pie
Explain me.
because you think that a pie always
A
existed.
pie came into existence on its own?
You think that a pie always existed? You think a pie always existed, Darren, because the
You are
ingredients of a
funny.
pie exist
You
before the
got
fact.
baked.
How
And
stupid is
I
that?
reversed it on you, though. I reversed it.
No,
when
you
it comes
didn't.
to the, when it comes to Allah.
No, you didn't,
Allah
because
is made of
no.
many different ingredients.
No,
He
I
cannot be
I
Allah
told you. I
without
already
these
told you why.
ingredients.
I already
These
told you why.
ingredients have to
I already
exist.
told you why.
Oh, okay,
Okay, we're
guys,
gonna need to
watch
moderate
this.
this. We're
Umar,
gonna need to moderate
hold on,
this.
hold on,
No,
let me
no,
say this.
no. You're
Let me say
being
this. Watch
dishonest.
this, chat.
You're straw manning me.
Chat,
No,
watch this.
You're straw manning me. No,
Bro,
you're straw
can I
manning me.
speak, bro? You
No,
just
no,
spoke.
I'm not gonna let you speak because you're straw manning me. I
No,
told
no,
you,
you know
in
you're
the
in the
case
bag.
of the pizza, I told
Watch
you in the
this.
case of the pizza, no, I told you in the case of the pizza and the pie, these are things that are separated. And the identity of what a pie is doesn't exist. The ingredients exist. And this deals with temporal notions. If it's temporally put together, that means it was one separate. God's attributes
Orthodox, your boy
always,
got big, bro.
God's
Your boy got-
attributes,
your boy got
God's
rotisserie
attributes,
staff.
God's
You know what I mean?
attributes Oh, you see how you're interrupting me? You see how you're panicking? You see how you're
Darren,
panicking? You see how you're
Darren,
panicking?
let him finish.
Oh,
his
you
point,
don't want to give me the
You
same
see how you're
time.
panicking?
When I start
He
talking,
did. I shut my mouth and I let you speak earlier. You say
No,
you're panicking?
you know you did.
You're
You interrupted
panicking.
me.
You're panicking.
Okay, you
Keep
go
panicking.
now, then Darren after. Go ahead.
All
Keep
right,
panicking.
Don't ask me no questions. Just tell me what you got to do.
No, I am going to ask you a question. You're going to answer about
do
Gregory
little
Palamas.
crossing
You are going to
guard
answer.
after. We can
You
do
are going to
little
answer
crossing
Gregory
guard.
Palamas. You are going to answer Gregory Palamas.
Bro, give your disposition.
Okay.
Give your closing.
So,
Give your closing so I can
no, you're going to answer Gregory
we need-
Palamas. No,
Hey,
Sid,
tell him
he's
to
going to
give
answer
us
Gregory
so I
Palamas.
can
I'm
put
going to
him in
make him
that
answer Gregory
spin him
Palamas today.
around.
I'm going to make him answer Gregory
I
Palamas
done
today.
spun him around. He proved 99
We'll see about that.
apart from Allah.
So
distinct
we
from
agreed.
Allah. That
we
make
agreed.
Allah who he is.
Oh my
That's
God! Look at this
crazy.
guy. He can't control himself. It's okay, Darren. I know how it feels to lose. You lost.
This dude said
You
Allah.
lost.
This dude said Allah.
So watch.
I mean, we'll see.
He tried to give an example of a pie or a pizza with Allah's attributes, or whatever God that someone may believe in with his attributes. These essential properties, what makes Allah eternally exist. The pie is not a pie until those pieces are brought together, but God's attributes were not brought together. And then Darren said 99 ontologies. When we define ontology as the study of being and what exists are properties. And I can even say, watch this. Your God has an infinite amount of ontologies. Why? Because God's knowledge is infinite, Darren, and you believe it's infinite. And each content of that knowledge does exist. So then, by that logic, there's there's billions of ontologies. There's an infinite amount of ontologies for Darren. So I told him what exists are the properties. They don't exist separate from God. Therefore, there's not multiple gods. No one with a brain brings this as an argument and thinks this is some kind of polytheism. But I showed him, and I'm going to show him again, and he is going to answer. I'm going to make him answer that I define ontology of studying and being what exists, and what exists is properties. And God's attributes do exist, and we know of 99 properties. Well, actually, more properties than that, but those are 99 names. There might be more properties than that. That's fine. Now, Gregory Palamas says that we, for our part, know that while all the energies of God are uncreated, Darren, not all are without beginning. There's a multiple uncreated actions of God, Darren, that exist. So would you be consistent? Yes or no? Does Gregory of Palamas believe that God has multiple ontologies? Yes or no?
Are you done, Umar? Yeah.
Him to answer.
Okay, go ahead. Darren.
My answer is this: God has one state of existence, and with all his attributes are part of his personal essence. It is who he is. When we say God is all-knowing, it's who he is, not what he is.
He has parts.
Umar, just let him.
Oh, he has parts? I thought he doesn't have parts.
He can't. I just said he did he hear what I just said? Okay, Umar?
Okay, do you know how we're gonna, wait. Do you know how we're
Listen,
gonna
I don't
do
want to
this?
get crazy.
Okay,
I really don't. But you need to mute your mic because I was
Darren,
quiet.
you give your answer, then
Thank you.
Then we will give Umar his
So what
answer.
he doesn't realize,
Closing statements, and we wrap this up. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up right now, and I'm gonna put him in a bag, and he's not coming back.
No, because he didn't answer my
Watch
question
this.
about Gregory Palamas.
Dude, are you?
If he doesn't answer, people can tell that he's not answering your question, Omar. Leave it to people will judge it, bro. No. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I have to study the church father's position on the issue. How about that? Let me just say it that way.
Okay.
I have
So
to study his position on the issue. I'm not gonna take your word for it. I gotta go back, see what his position was. See if he. I mean, I will actually agree that he might have been a church father. Okay, great. But let me go back and research it now. Let me go back. Me and you can double back on this conversation, and we can talk about his definition of these different ontologies that exist.
Sure, Darren. And you know what, Darren? I respect that.
So
I know. Hold on. I'm just gonna say. I just want to say, Darren, I respect that. I appreciate that. That is something that I can definitely respect. So as of now, everybody, Darren possibly thinks that Gregory Palamas was a polytheist. Okay.
No, I didn't say that. I got to study his stuff. What does me studying what he says have to do with me calling him a polytheist? I'm not taking your word.
Darren, you also said that God has parts.
God, okay, my turn. Mute up.
Okay, go ahead.
This God has what's called, thank you, Q-Top, the composer-composite issue. He believes that there are 99 attributes that exist apart from Allah, that comprised make up Allah. But there's a problem. Everything that's comprised needs a composer. Meaning Allah can't be the composer of his own parts, otherwise he wouldn't be Allah. So you have a problem, Umar. you have what's called the composer composite problem. If Allah is made of 99 parts, there has to be someone above Allah to comprise those parts. Boom. Your God doesn't exist without his parts. Allah exists alongside of his parts. His parts are uncreated like Allah. So 99 uncreated things exist. And he just admitted there are 99 different ontologies that Allah cannot exist without. So if they are not Allah, they are uncreated like Allah. They are distinct from Allah. There is no Allah unless there's someone above Allah. And I dropped the freaking mic, and here's what I want you to do, Umar. Look freaking down. You're going to find this clip all over the internet because you just ended up in a freaking body bag. That's light.
Okay, now closing statement for Umar, then closing statement.
And I don't even get into philosophy. That's how tough it was. I don't even dabble in that.
Okay, we'll see about that, Darren. So,
yeah, then we have
hold on, real quick, guys. Big ups to my man Umar, man. I really enjoyed having that conversation. I knew it was gonna get hot.
Hey, man.
We're chilling, bro.
Hey, it's all good, Darren. Hey, we didn't blaspheme or nothing like that. That's cool, man.
Man, hey.
We're chilling,
appreciate
bro.
that.
Hey, Umar's family in my chat, you guys. So
I appreciate you saying that
the
pie existed before it was, constructed and all that. I appreciate that.
Umar.
So,
Omar, so give your closing statement.
Yeah. I'll give my.
Now I give him a closing statement. Then we can do Q&A. Some people want.
Yeah. So everybody, what did we see today?
Hey, this a formal debate, Sid? I gotta go, bro.
I mean, just some people want.
Just stick around for like a couple more minutes, man.
I gotta clean, man. My wife get home in a couple hours.
It's all good.
It's not gonna.
No, we'll do it. I'm down. I'm excited.
Yeah. So look, what did we see today? Argument after argument after argument after argument against Tawhid, and there's no logical problem with Tawhid. He couldn't give some kind of metaphysical issue. He couldn't give some kind of inconsistency nor incoherency. He brought many arguments, Jesus creating. We responded that there's, primary cause, secondary, so on and so forth. This guy, Derron, thinks that a pie is a pie when it's just its ingredients. Okay. I mean, if you want to believe that, man, you can believe that. A pie is a pie even when it's its ingredients. Cool. So next time Derron goes to the store and gets a bunch of ingredients to make a pizza, and he puts it in his shopping cart, he already has the pizza in there. All right, cool. You believe that, man. What else did we see? The argument of composition, which I don't know why in his closing he brings this argument, whatever is composed has a composer. That's just an assertion. I can simply state, whatever is simple has something that made it simple. Wow. Wow, guys. Wow, does that follow though? Whatever's composed has a composer. It's on him. I don't know why he brought that argument in the closing, but it's on him to prove. But by the way, let's even grant that, because Derron himself said that it's part of God's essence. So Derron admits that God has parts, and whatever's composed has a composer. So Darren's God is composed. So who composed your God, Derron? Good job, man. Hey, let's give him a little clap. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I appreciate that. We appreciate that, Derron. We appreciate you saying at the end of the discussion that God has parts in his essence. We really appreciate that, Derron. So I don't really have anything else. If you want to bring people up for questions, I don't know what else he brought. The whole argument of change as well. Yeah, change. If God changes, then it contingent. Oh my God, dude! I proved that his God changes. He didn't want to engage with the discussion. He ran away from the fact that God will believe that he exists at a certain point. We addressed the idea of God being begotten and how gibberish it is. It doesn't make any sense because to come forth is a temporal notion, and that would mean that his God is in time, and he has a problem with that. I don't have a problem with God being in time, God being spatial, and so on and so forth, because I can actually defend that position. I can show how it's more simplistic, it has more explanatory power, and it's not unintelligible like he believes. Derron, everybody, believes that God is a property. Derron believes that God is a property, just like Q-Top. If God is identical to his attributes, the essence is identical to its attributes, then that means that God is a property. And not only that,
you're going to get this dude 10 minutes?
Just a second. It also, I'm just trying to show the entailment. It also makes it the case that God doesn't have property because he doesn't have real properties. Because then he would have the property of having no properties. Beautiful belief, Derron. Now, last part. Derron said that, let me just finish. I didn't interrupt you in your thing, right? You didn't set a time or anything. Like, have some respect, dude. Come on. Derron said 99 ontologies, like Jake said, is 99 gods. But his own Christians, who are actually smart in these discourses, say that 99 ontologies is ambiguous. G1 said it. All the Catholics, FL, Joshi, Gabe, all these guys agree that it's ambiguous because ontology means the study of being and what exists. And what exists are properties. And Gregory of Palamas himself says that there are uncreated energies that are not eternal, which would mean that Gregory of Palamas believes in more than 99 ontologies. So then Gregory of Palamas, according to Derron, must be a polytheist, which is why Derron is going to go research on his theologians, because he doesn't have any clue what he just said today, that Gregory of Palamas is a polytheist who believes that God changes. So Derron, what I want you to do, man, I want you to look down at the ground, look at that bag. I want you to look at that bag. I want you to, number one, Derron, I want you to look at that bag, and I want you to see that zipper on the floor, body bag, and I want you, and everybody also this, Derron.
Hey, you got people that want to come up. Rise, be
yeah,
man.
Yeah, and just one second, Derron.
Where's
before you rise in, let me just finish real quick, and before you rise in, if anybody, and I mean anybody that's gonna throw your scholars under the bus, Black Doctor, it's gonna be me, Derron. I'm going to throw your scholars under the bus. I'm going to throw Gregory Palamas under the bus because you think he's a polytheist who believes God changes.
Well, I said I gotta research the scholars, bro. I'm not very linguistic when I'm a preacher. But hey, I'll go back. Like I said, I'll admit, I'll go back and I'll study.